Okay, we should be going.
Okay, so last session, the party negotiated a rather tense situation inside the village filled chiefly with Polish civilians, finding it also now significantly occupied by elements of the Polish military who were preparing for battle, clearly against the NATO forces of the Major a little to their west, although they appear to be adopting a defensive setting. Whilst in that town, the party let slip the existence of the stash. They did not reveal exactly what was in the stash, but they suggested to the Polish military that there was something of value in Sestakova. The officer in charge of the Polish military seemed to attempt to strong-arm the party into releasing or agreeing to give up their claim or share half of it, is how the Commodore interpreted things. However, due to a moment of brinksmanship, the Commodore was able to successfully, it appears, argue the officer down, and the party were released along with the rest of the convoy to continue on their way and eventually successfully secure the stash. The NPCs that you brought with you were left behind to guard it, and your vehicle returned, complete with the fuel truck, to fuel the Major's forces. They are now preparing to leave their position, but as part of the negotiation, it was agreed that you would be taking the longer southern road, which you are now reconnoitering. You have gone through one village and found it relatively unoccupied, seemingly entirely unoccupied, somewhat battle damaged. But you noticed that the train junction in the village had undergone deliberate sabotage. Carrying on the road south, you have passed through a wooded area and were held up at what would normally have been an ambush point, but turned into a bit of a checkpoint because they were confused by your vehicle. However, failed to recognize the coded flash signals that they were giving you, which resulted in an RPG being fired upon you, striking the side of your vehicle, penetrating the armor, and causing some degree of damage. You have let off your smoke and reversed in an effort to protect your vehicle. Dalton has jumped out and assumed cover in rocks. And now the combat will continue. We start at the top of the initiative order. Dalton, your vehicle has been hit. You are out. Smoke is in front of you, but doesn't entirely obstruct your view. And you're aware of Russian soldiers, chiefly in the woods to your front right, but also seemingly some in the woods on the opposite side of the road to your front left. What do you do?
So we know for sure these are Russians, because I don't think we knew that before.
Yes. Admittedly, they could be Poles. They're definitely using Soviet equipment there.
All right. Well, I think the guy I took a shot at last time was this one over here,
That's correct.
and I'm just going to continue firing at him.
Very well. So, yes, are you going to take the aim action and then fire? Are you going to fire without aiming?
Aim and
Okay.
fire.
Absolutely. Make your ranged attack. You are within your normal ranges, so that should be fine. At -1, given the situation. So yeah, make your ranged attack at -1.
Oops. Clicked the wrong one.
Oh, okay.
You said -1 because of the smoke, right?
Yeah. Okay, that's a successful hit. You didn't take careful body part aim, so it will hit a random piece of his body that I'm now going to roll in the background. Okay. Now tell me, what's the normal damage and crit threshold of your weapon?
3 and 3.
3 and 3. So, take aim at this particular person. He's in partial cover. A lot of his body is concealed. Fire your rifle. Bullet whizzes out, and you hear a slight clunk as your bullet connects with his helmet. Normally, his helmet would have an armor value of 1, reducing the damage below the crit threshold, but got an extra success, which takes it back up to the crit threshold, and he is instantly killed as your bullet strikes his skull and moves him from the encounter, his body falling down beneath the cover, or behind the cover, but he is very clearly dead, judging by the slight momentary red haze. And that is your entire initiative. All right. Soviets, or the unknown attackers, are up next. Dalton, from your position, you might just be able to see this figure getting ready and aiming at the BMP. He is very clearly the one with the RPG. He, however, does nothing further this round. This particular figure is going to fire in Dalton's direction. Kill him secretly. Oh, he misses entirely. Dalton, bullets whiz over your head, but you can tell they're landing nowhere close. Maybe a bullet ricochets off of the stone near you, but you are otherwise unaffected. Please make, even though you were not hit, you were fired upon. So please make a cool under fire roll. Will probably be absolutely fine. You're absolutely fine. You're not suppressed, and you're able to act normally. This particular person doesn't appear to be doing anything. He is very diligently aiming towards the rear of the BMP, where anyone would have to come in or out. But otherwise, he doesn't appear to be doing anything. It is now the Commodore's initiative. Commodore Wolf, your BMP is damaged. It is still functional, but you are aware that the gearbox is significantly damaged. Smells smoke, searing and superheated metal. You can smell blood from Dr. Rostogram in the back, who has received superficial injuries. What do you do?
Because I had to turn off the vehicle, I jumped to the back. So the doctor can fix herself up and go to help Salvazar with the...
So you're going to the gunner position?
Yeah. Because the vehicle's turned off and we can't move it.
Okay, all right. So you leave the driver's seat and you climb up into the gunner position. I'm going to say that that is a fast action, so you still got a slow action left. Slow actions can be such things. Carry on.
Fire upon. Can I fire upon somebody like that?
Yes, you can.
Right there.
Yeah, I'm going to say that you can, without having to take an action to move the turret, as it were, you can fire on the people in your forward arc, which is 2 people. So you can pick one of them, and also tell me whether you had. You can pick either, whether you had HE or AP loaded.
HP or... I don't know what it would have been loaded because I wasn't on the gun loading it.
Absolutely fair. In that case, I'll flip a coin.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got AP loaded.
He'll probably fire at this dude right here.
All right. Yeah, make me a ranged combat roll at -2.
Yeah. It'll be -2.
Okay, so you clamber up into the gunner position, start moving the turret around, and you bring the 73mm cannon to bear. I'm assuming that's what you're firing, not the PKM coaxial machine gun. Okay, you're firing a 73
Yep.
millimeter cannon. Okay. So yeah, you bring the 73 millimeter cannon to bear on your foe. You take careful aim and fire. You strike a tree, which he is hiding behind. However, this is an armor-penetrating round from a 73 millimeter cannon. The tree does not stop it, and it goes straight through his torso. There is absolutely no way he could possibly survive that. His center mass more or less ceases to exist as he is simply blown apart by your attack. That is your entire initiative. The encounter certainly seems to have swung in your team's favor. It is now Rostogram's turn. Dr. Rostogram.
Radioing for help is probably what she's doing. As well as shaking
Fantastic.
her head to clear the ringing from her ears and whatever is swimming in front of her eyes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, your vision is probably slightly distorted, all purely cosmetic. You haven't taken a critical injury. But yes, you radio for help. I'm going to say that this is a slow action. But you do... Okay. So, with that done, we turn back round to Dalton. Dalton, top of the round, it's your initiative. What do you do?
I think I'm going to take a shot at this guy here.
Okay. Is this a standard normal aim and shoot?
Yes.
All right. Make me the roll at -1. All right. Unless you want to push, the round goes wide. He is shaken by this, but he nonetheless appears to have maintained his resolve. He doesn't fall to the ground or anything along those lines. And you know this because you're looking at him as he squeezes the trigger, and another rocket flies out towards your BMP. And this, given how important this is, I'm going to roll this one out in the open. Just need to get back into it. Okay, here we go. Excellent. So, the RPG round flies out. It goes wide. Because, however, it is an explosive, it's a splash weapon. It matters where it lands. And I'm just going to slightly randomize it. Okay. It goes off in this hex. The area around it would sustain damage. However, there is no one there, and without it being a direct hit, it's not going to be enough to worry the armor of the BMP. He then appears to drop down entirely behind cover and falls from view. He is no longer visible. It is now the Commodore's turn. Commodore, what do you do?
He's gonna fire in that hex.
Absolutely. Are you loading HP or sorry, HP? That's not a thing. AP or HE?
Whatever was loaded last time, he's gonna say.
Whatever was loaded last time was your armor-piercing rounds, AP. However, this is a very large weapon. This isn't the sort of automatic cannon. As a result of which, it will take at least a round to load this thing.
Okay,
You're going to have to spend your initiative doing that.
I would say load AG.
Actually,
I would have assumed Corvinus would have been doing that because Corvinus would have been in the loading.
Corvinus is in the loader position. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Okay. And hello, Corvinus. Now that you're back, we just put you in
what
the loader
the fuck
position
did
once
I
you weren't
miss?
here.
Everything's on it.
Your BMP has been attacked. It has been successfully hit by an RPG round.
I know that.
Yeah, Dalton's bailed out. The BMP's returned fire. It seems to be going well. A second RPG round has been fired at you and missed. So, okay. Corvina spends their entire turn loading. In that case, yes, you may fire. Are you going to take the quick action to load? Sorry, to aim, and then fire HE in that hex?
Yep.
All right. You may give me the roll at check.
What check?
I'm just checking something. Okay. Yep. At -2.
Okay.
Okay, fantastic. You hit the hex. Poof, explosion goes off. I'm now going to check your party BMP stats so I can see explosive power. Okay, explosive grade C. What's that? Okay, bang! The explosion goes off in that hex. Can't see what happens to the man because he was already in full cover, like lying down. He was invisible. You're just firing at an area where you think he is. Don't see anything like a body part fly up or anything along those lines. So you've hit the area. The effect is unknown. And that's your entire round. I'm going to put... tell me, Corvinus, what is the number on the playing card you were dealt?
1.
1? 1? Oh, did you mean
Actually,
ace?
No. 8 of spades.
8 of spades. Okay. In that case, I'm going to say that your previous round was loading because you've gone before the Commodore, but you'll take action in the next turn. We then turn to Rostogram. Rostogram, you have successfully radioed back and received an acknowledgement. What do you do?
What do I do? That's an excellent question. I guess I decide to climb up to... If there's an open gunnery position, I guess that's where I need to go.
You could go to the... it would be a real squeeze because it's not designed to have 3 people in it, but you could go to the coaxial PKM, and I'll let you fire that. It fires in roughly the same direction that the turret is facing, so you're only really going to be able to fire at the RPG guy.
Okay. I mean, unless the Commodore's like, get back, we don't have room for you here. You know?
Given that it's overcrowded, I will say that all actions in the turret whilst overcrowded are at -1, on top of any other minuses or positives that may apply.
Okay. Because as far as Rostergam's combat skills go, for the rest of the team to know, they're not that great. So if it's better that she's not trying to do anything right now, if it's not desperately we need someone, feel free to order her to just sit down. Maybe she's bleeding from the forehead anyway. Who knows?
It seems they're not saying anything.
All right then. Well, then if no one's stopping her, she's going. She's going to try and be helpful, even if it's not helpful.
Absolutely.
The Commodore won't be stopping you. He's too busy focused on trying to get the enemies off him.
You can... I should point out that you cannot actually see this person, so you could only really do sort of like suppressive fire on a general area.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Alright. Make me that range combat attack, and just make it flat. Alright. So you spray PKM fire in the general direction of where the RPG soldier was last seen. You have no idea what the effect, if any, was.
Yep.
We now turn back round to the top of the initiative order. Dalton, the RPG soldier is nowhere to be seen. You still have 1 soldier to your south who obviously fired in your direction with what appeared to be some kind of automatic weapon.
Yep. I'm going to aim at him and then fire at him.
Excellent. Make me a shot and at -2. Alas, I forgot to apply the relevant modifier for him being in heavy woods. But yeah, fire at -2.
This too, all right.
Oh my god. So, you definitely hit him. I'm just randomized for the roll location. Okay, so you fire at him, and the bullet hits what appears to be a tree. However, you scored so many successes that the round is able to successfully penetrate the tree. You are aware that he appears to sort of stagger back. You've definitely hit something, but you get the feeling that the tree took enough, shall we say, momentum out of the bullet to not kill him instantly. Whilst if you hit an unprotected location, that would have been instant death. All right, it is now. It is now the turn of the enemies. Hang on, I just have to think about something. Yep. Okay, nobody sees the RPG soldier at all. The soldier that Dalton just hit will attempt to return fire. Don't have cover from that direction, but you do have cover from that, so I'm just... Okay. All right. So, Dalton, you have successfully fired at this person. He is definitely wounded, but he still has the wherewithal to return fire. You hear the snap of bullets ricocheting off rock near you before you eventually feel a stinging location somewhere around your rib cage off to the side. You look down and you notice a small trail of blood starting to appear. It's not so much the bullet itself as sections of rock that snapped off when the bullet hit them have blown off and embedded themselves into your side. The damage is minor. The rock certainly mechanically took the vast majority of the damage out of that, and he scored. He only wounded you at all because he scored quite a few successes. Take 1 point of damage, but are otherwise unimpeded.
So,
and then
wouldn't that 1 point of damage be negated by my flak vest?
No, that is the 1 point of damage after the rock and the flak vest.
Oh, after the damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Indeed.
All right.
Yeah. Had you not had any armor or rock at all, he scored a suitable number of successes to just one-hit kill most people. He got lucky. But okay, so you have taken minor damage, and after he has hit you, you're dimly aware of him dropping down entirely out of view, just flopping on his belly, and he is no longer visible. It is now the it is now Soboslaw's turn. Do you want to spend an action?
Don't I need to roll cuff again, or?
Oh yes, thank you for reminding me to do that. And it'll just be flat. Yep, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. Okay, Soboslaw, your turn. You're currently in the loader position. What do you do?
I'm gonna load it with an HE.
All right. Please make me a ranged combat roll at -1.
Load it. Ranged, right?
Yeah, ranged combat roll at -1.
Load up.
Okay, yep, fine. Despite the fact that you've got somebody, too many people in the turret, like getting in the way of your elbows and so forth, you are successfully able to load the round this turn, meaning that, oh look, it's the Commodore's initiative, and the Commodore has got a loaded 73mm cannon to work with, loaded with HE.
And he's going to fire it.
Okay, where at what? You currently can see no targets. You're just vaguely aware of regions where they might be.
He's going to shoot it there because he didn't see any body parts fly around, so he's assuming that he's still alive.
Okay, absolutely. Make me that shot at -3.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna check a sheet briefly, but okay. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. So, poof, the shell lands in that square again, or hex rather. You see nothing. No body parts. No. Where you are, you certainly wouldn't be able to hear any screams. It's way too noisy, way too far away. You know you've hit where you were aiming at. Other than that, no particular clue about what's happened. It is now Rostogram's turn.
Continue to lay suppressive fire.
All right, you do that. Make me a flat range combat roll. Okay, you spray rounds in that direction, but you're not able to observe any effect because you can't see any people that you might be having an effect on. It is now Dalton's round. You see the BMP is continuing to put fire where the RPG soldier was. Who knows what effects that's having?
And I can't see either one of these guys anymore, right? They've dropped completely
No,
out of sight.
they've dropped completely out of sight. They're either dead or crawling.
How far can I move on a movement action?
So you can move 2 hexes without having to roll as a fast action. You could seem to like your fast and your slow action to move 4 if you wanted. If you want to go further than 2, you have to make a roll.
And that's what roll is that? Is that stamina or
It would
something?
be a mobility. And I'm assuming you left your backpack in the BMP, so it would be flat rather than at negatives. If you have your backpack on, it's at negatives.
I don't have any mobility. I think I'm gonna low crawl around the rock.
Okay.
To about this point here, keeping an eye on this guy here, but taking cover behind this rock right here.
Absolutely. I should say that if you are, walking or running, as in on 2 legs, it's 2. If you're crawling, it's 1.
If I use both my fast and slow action, it's still only 1?
If you use your fast and slow, it's 2. So
Yeah.
it's okay. one hex per action.
Yeah, no, then I position myself somewhere in this area, trying to keep this rock between me and this guy.
About there.
Here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll put the cover marker there. Excellent. Okay. So you crawl around. Okay. In fact, you'd be in full cover behind the rock there, crawling. And we would be entirely unobstructed. You take no fire as you do it. Okay. It is the turn of the enemy. Nothing happens. The enemy. Somersley. Nothing happens. It's your turn. The enemy.
Loading heat.
Okay. Well, no, you don't have heat. You just have HE.
I know, that's what I mean.
You have HE and AP. But yeah.
HE.
So yeah, okay. Right, you load HE. Fine. Make me the ranged combat roll or heavy weapons, your choice, at -1. Yeah. Yeah, fine. You load it without problem. Also, Sobislaw, please roll me 2d12.
What?
Yeah, just roll me 2d12. Just normal d12.
Alright.
Okay. Haha, that's very interesting. I did not fully determine this. After the various rounds that you have been firing, I am going to say that you have got 3 rounds of AP left and 12 rounds of HE left. Okay, so you've loaded HE successfully. Commodore, it is your initiative. What are you gonna do? The smoke, by the way, at this point has almost entirely cleared.
So he's gonna
Ooh, I didn't mean to delete the vehicle, but carry on.
he's gonna try and do hmm. Hmm. He's gonna shoot over.
What, like 2 hexes further away?
Yeah, because he's
All right.
assuming he's not there again. Yeah. So he's gonna change position. Where
Yep.
we're
You
shooting
can
at.
make me that range combat roll at. Since you're firing only at a hex rather than at a person, just make it flat. All right. Fire. Doof, hit the hex. Nothing. Splinters fly around. There's the brief flash and the smell of smoke. Nothing about human body parts or screaming or blood or anything along those lines. You have successfully blown up some trees, and you are confident of that. It is now it's now Rostogram's turn. Dr. Rostogram, what do you do?
Hold off on laying suppressive fire. Just look out and see if there's any general movement within the vicinity.
All right, you can give me a perception roll at -2.
That is recon.
Yes, perception roll. Grief, tell I've been playing Pathfinder. Yeah, recon roll at -2. All right, you are able to determine nothing, but you don't see anyone
some
moving
bullets,
around.
guys.
Back round to the top. It's Dalton.
Um, kind of want to throw a grenade at this guy. I know he's not. I think he's. I don't think he's dead, but I don't know that he's still there either. But I kind of want to lob a frag grenade into that area.
Absolutely. I should, by the way, point out that if for whatever reason you just don't know where people are, I will leave their tokens on the last hex you knew they were in.
Right.
Yeah. You can. That's absolutely within throwing range. You can make me that roll.
Which roll is that one under?
Good grief. Throwing grenades is usually. I very rarely deal with grenades. Fragmentation blast. It should be a. I do apologize. I should know this off the top of my head.
I think in strength, close combat.
I think strength. It's definitely not close combat. I say it's definitely not close combat. I don't believe it is. But here we go. For the sake of speed, and I can correct it later, you can make it as a range combat roll at this point. Okay, all right. And was this a fragmentation grenade?
Yeah.
Okay, yep, take that off your sheet. And there's definitely a boom that you can see and hear. However, again, there doesn't appear to be a huge amount of screaming or blood or anything along those lines. There has successfully been an explosion where you meant for there to be one there. It now comes back round to your enemy's turn. Nothing happens. It is Soboslaw's turn. Stop as well.
Yeah.
It is
Your
your
turn.
turn. Are you loading more HE?
Yes.
All right, you load HE. You now have 11 rounds of it. Yep, that's fine. Yep, the explosion only matters if you're pushing. So yeah, you're successfully able to load, despite the turret being overcrowded. Commodore, it is your turn. You've fired several rounds of HE into the wood to seemingly no effect. What, if anything, do you...
Can I roll a perception on the aerial?
You can at -2 because, you're inside a turret with extremely limited field of view.
Okay.
That would be recon at -2.
Yeah, I'll...
Okay, all right, you do it. You look through the sort of targeting scope of the weapon. You go, oh, where is it? What's going on? Where? What? And as you're really intently looking, you do notice behind a tree what appears to be a hand, and it's really difficult to tell. But as you really squint, it doesn't quite look like the hand is attached to anything. But it's like really near the trunk, so you're not you're not 100% sure if it's just an arm behind the trunk that it's attached to, and therefore a person possibly, or if it's on its own. There's not much difference with its unfortunate placement, but yeah, it's probably not attached to anything.
He's going to take a shot in that direction, on that hex. Wherever
All right.
Handy.
You're down to 10 HE rounds. Make me a flat range combat roll. All right, the round goes wide, and you hit another hex, and splinters fly around. The bough of a tree snaps off. One particular tree looks as though it's about to fall down, but other than that, no immediate discernible effect.
I'll mention the hand.
Okay, you mentioned the hand. Dr. Rostogram, it is your turn.
At the mention of a hand, Rostrogam will ask, does that mean that you think we got him, Commodore?
Don't know. It's coming from behind a tree.
So out of character, you've said that, or you, Edgeford, have said that that there's a limit to the range of vision in this turret.
Yes. It's not so much a limit to the range of vision, it's more like field of vision. Any perception test given from inside, like a heavily armored vehicle, is at -2, just because you're looking through tiny holes and extremely constricted fields of view, that kind of thing.
Okay, because I was going to have her move up to the front of the vehicle and see if she could see any better out the front, but it sounds like that won't really make much of a difference.
No, what will make a lot of difference is if you poke your head out. That will make a lot of difference, but has other obvious drawbacks.
Yeah, I'd like to think that Rostrogam is smart enough to not just do that until someone says the coast is clear. I guess that she will then just nod and lay down suppressing fire again.
All right, make me that flat range combat roll. Okay, you successfully lay fire down in that general area. It appears to have no immediate obvious effect. Noting the amount of ammunition that's being expended here. Okay, Dalton. Nothing appears to be happening. What do you do?
I think I'm gonna low crawl up to that hex where that guy was and see if I can see him in there. And I'm gonna keep my weapon
All right, yeah, you can do that.
in front of me. I'm gonna keep my weapon in front of me in case I need to fire it.
All right. So you crawl up. You got the range to do that if you both your turns. And I'm going to say that without even having to do a perception test or a recon test, see like crawl marks where a body crawled away. There doesn't appear to be a huge amount of well, there's some blood involved, but only for a little while. And then there's a big old like patch of dirt where there was more disturbance. Then there's no more blood, but there's a bit more evidence that someone crawled away. You can give me a perception test for anything further.
Okay.
So a recon roll. A recon roll
yeah.
flat. It'll be opposed against his recon.
But I should be able to at least tell which direction he went, right?
So yeah, you can tell he went roughly southwards, but you very quickly lose any other form of trail, and there is no obvious sign of this person.
Okay.
All right. During the enemy turn, nothing detectable happens. Commodore, well, Soboslaw, it's do you loading?
Yep.
All right, clunk. Oh, wonderful. So you go to load the weapon, and as you do it, your forearm kind of claps the back of Rostogram's head. As a result, because you're crammed too tight in, it sort of clops the back of Rostogram's head. This causes you to lose grip of the shell, and it tang 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 just clatters to the floor as you drop it.
Oh, bloody hell.
I'm sorry.
Nothing dramatic happens. Just drop it. The weapon is not loaded. Commodore, your turn.
He goes, "You used to just stay in here." He pokes his head out to have a better look.
Okay. You can give me a flat perception roll. Or recon roll, rather. Okay, so you look in the direction of the hand. The hand is still there. It hasn't moved, but you can tell no more information than you had before. Other than it has not moved.
Okay. He yells out to Dalton to go and check on the hand.
Yep, you're within easy shouting range. Rostogram, your initiative.
And you're sure that you don't want me to go check this out, Commodore?
You can go and check it out now. Please don't get shot.
That
Well-
was never the plan.
The doors to the BMP at the back where Dalton got out open.
Oh, they're still open? Oh my
so-
gosh.
Yeah.
It's a miracle no one came up on us.
So it's not going to take it's like one quick action to get out, and then you've got 2 more hexes worth of movement to sort of move in their direction, or more if you want to try and do a mobility roll.
Got some mobility, but probably like there hasn't been a lot of heavy fire exchanged recently, so it's probably not as urgent as requiring like crazy stunts or anything. But I think keeping low is she's smart enough to at least know a little bit about don't be an easy target. So
Absolutely fair. Yeah, put your token anywhere within 2 hexes of the BMP, and then once you are where you want to be, make a perception or recon roll flat.
I can't move my token.
Oh, okay. I'll I'll try and fix that. But do you want to be there or there, and then I'll fix that.
I feel like the upper hex is a little bit safer.
Okay.
Assuming, well, I don't know. How many
Absolutely.
trees got knocked down during the initial exchange of fire? Or is it more
Not that many?
more this hex where we were targeting, maybe? Anyway.
Yeah, the trees in the deeper wood, like the thicker bushes, appear to be more heavily damaged. Your area that you're currently in is as it was.
Okay. Then yeah, that's where I'll be making a recon check. Lord
Fantastic.
help me that I don't get shot for my efforts.
Okay, so you peer in that direction, and Dr. Roscram, as you get closer, you are able to sort of see the hand as well. You maneuver to a different position, slightly within the hex, and you can clearly see that it is not attached to anything. And then a little further back, there's possibly a boot. Again, not attached to anything. It's very badly damaged. You're not entirely sure it's even a boot.
I think we got him, Commodore.
Fantastic. Roll me a d6. High is good, low is bad. Five. Oh, very good. As you sort of scout around in that area, you are able to find the remainder of his body. I'm not going to say you move up to it quite yet because you might not want to, but you can see it. And you are very, very fortunate in that you can clearly see that. I mean, his AK-74 is obviously badly bashed up. Now, you might be able to salvage some parts, but not the weapon itself from the multiple explosions. But the RPG-7 and one rocket appears to be in remarkably good condition.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, that swings us back round to the top of the initiative order, which is Dalton. Do you want to do anything, or do you want to sort of come out of initiative, end the combat, and not doggedly pursue this guy, or do you want to stay in initiative and try and hunt him down?
I want to hunt him down. I heard the Commodore holler for me to check the RPG guy. Then I heard the doctor call out that they got him, and so I'm going to ignore that command and continue trying to determine where this wounded man is gone.
Fantastic! You can make me a recon roll.
So, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, unless you had another plan, of course.
I was going to follow the trail, but
oh yeah, the recon roll was part of that. Okay, all right. This is however opposed, so yeah, all right. So you attempt to follow the trail, but the trail very quickly peters out. You can't see crawl marks, you can't see boot prints. It's as though he just picked up into the air and started levitating. This, of course, is impossible, but you know there's a trail, you just can't find it.
so that was a slow action. So I got a fast action left, or is it vice versa?
Yeah, no, that was a slow. You've still got a fast action. You can round or do something else that doesn't take much time.
I think I'm going to move back toward the BMP.
Okay, absolutely fine. Yeah, if you do it on foot, you can get back to your previous, as in standing. You can get back to your previous position.
Jog back to it.
Excellent. I don't know if you can move your token. If not, I'll move it.
No, I think I can.
Okay. Oh yeah, you could. Excellent. Okay. So jog back and you get back into cover or something along those lines. And time passes. There are no more shots. There is no more activity. The aggressors are either dead, hiding, or gone. And it's up to you which of those three you think is the case.
I think we need to
He's
look at the bodies of the two or three that we've killed already.
yeah.
Search the area for ammo and weapons and whatnot.
Yep.
And get Corvinus to work on the tank while we're Slovoslaw
Already
to
on
work
it.
on the.
All right. Okay, we'll start with the searching of the bodies. You've already managed to locate an RPG-7 and a rocket. That is there. That is fine. Give me a. Just having a look at what appropriate stat. You can give me a survival roll for scavenging the rest of the supplies. Flat. That will give me an indication of how much else you're able to successfully recover.
Who's doing that?
Whichever one of you has the best survival roll in the party.
Oh, I don't have any.
I can actually
I have a D.
yeah, I have a D. But my intelligence is B. I don't know what's
Also B for me. How's Sobislaws?
But
Roster
you probably
Oh,
uh what's your survival?
Mine?
Survival? Roll? What is it? D B nothing?
I got nothing for survival. What?
Okay.
All right.
Well, you look at rostergram and you guys. Do you wanna look around?
Give me that flat survival.
Okay.
All right. So the Commodore clambers out of the BMP and starts scavenging around the deceased. You are able to find, including the body of the RPG man, 3 dead Russian bodies. They're very clearly Russian troops. Their equipment looks a bit old and faded and tattered. They didn't have body armor. They had steel helmets, but not body armor. And in terms of what you're able to recover, some of it is very badly damaged by the explosions, and you're able to recover one further AK-74 and 2 full 30-round magazines worth of ammunition. Some of it's in like loose pieces and so forth, but overall it's 60 rounds of, I believe it's 7.62 for the 74, but I'm going to check.
Yeah, it's 7.62 by.
Yeah.
It's either 39 or 54.
Yeah.
I don't remember which.
Yeah. So yeah, it's 54 because it's the same as the PKM. So yeah, at least I think it. So yeah, you've got 60 rounds of ammunition compatible with the 74s.
He would put all that stuff in the back of the tank and
Fantastic. So I'm just going to move. So I'm going to say.
and he hops back onto the what he goes to Elvislaw and goes, what equipment do we need for this?
All right, Soboslaw, you can please make me a flat tech roll. Okay, so you are able to successfully diagnose the gearbox as scuffed. Technical term. This thing, in theory, could move. The gearbox is actually still holding in place. Just you cough on it, and it looks like it could shatter. In order to reliably repair the gearbox, you're going to need to obtain suitable parts. You can either do that by finding another vehicle of roughly the same type and looting its components, or by accumulating a sufficient amount of general scrap. And then I'll say that you're able to improvise something to fix the gearbox.
I think a general amount of scrap could work. I have
Okay.
a feeling I know what to do.
He radios through that he needs some scrap brought to.
Okay. You
his
radio that through.
location ASAP.
Absolutely. Radio that through. I'll take the party to the travel map. You radio that through, your signal is acknowledged, and then a few minutes later, you get a response saying that logistical support and the provision of repair materials is not currently available. If you wish to remain where you are for an extended period of time, we may be able to reach you. However, if you require more urgent repair, you'll have to source the parts yourself.
He mentions that he looks back at how there are still helmets around. Would they be beneficial or not?
It's so bizarre, you can immediately tell that's not going to be anywhere near enough.
That's not gonna be near enough, unfortunately.
We actually move it to start heading.
It can
Or not.
move, but just able to. Not even a cough might cause it to completely break apart.
I should also remind you that there is a hole in the side of the BMP. That is just, metal sheets will, in theory, deal with that, although that won't be anywhere near as good as armor. Dealing with the hole properly is going to require some other bits, but the hole is not vital to the movement of the vehicle or anything like that.
Yeah.
He goes, we can't. We'll have to stay here until you get here.
There is general. Again, there's a delay, and they then say, "Acknowledged. We will update you with a time when parts may be available. In the meantime, adopt a suitable defensive position."
Yep. He turns back.
They also say it is likely to be days.
Right. He looks back at Sylvester and goes, "Well, we're gonna be stuck here for days." Unless you guys can go around scavenging for materials before they can get here in a couple of days.
Mechanically, that is absolutely something you can do. You're in the middle of nowhere at the moment, which will have an impact on that, but it is available.
If we're going to stay, I suggest we move the vehicle off the road, camouflage it, and set up defensive positions.
Yeah, that's what the Commodore is gonna do. So we aren't gonna be seen by anyone.
Except for the ones who already saw us.
Oh, they're already either dead or when they come back, we aren't gonna be there. Look like we aren't there.
Okay. That's absolutely something you're able to do. The person who's best at recon in the party can give me a flat recon roll to give me an indication of how well you're able to hide the MP.
So we're setting up like a camp, right?
Mhm.
I totally am gonna be the one to do this because I can put my survival up to a C because we're actually establishing a camp.
That will help you with some activities. It won't help you with hiding your encampment or the vehicle, but it will help you with other
Yep.
activities. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll roll the.
I don't think we want
recon.
I don't think we want a full camp either. I think we want
Mhm.
to be able to pack up and move in minutes if we need to. So
Yeah.
So you take the BMP a little way into the tree line through very delicate like maneuvering and reversing and so forth. When you do that, you put some branches and foliage and so forth in front of the vehicle, and also do what you can, although this is of limited effectiveness, conceal the caterpillar track marks in the dirt that lead right up to your position. You seal and cover those as best you can. And yeah, you have done something to hide the vehicle. As for setting up camp, the BMP is really bloody awkward to sleep in because I don't know if ever you've seen the sort of like the inside of them, but imagine two wooden benches back to back running down the
Yeah.
center. It's really awkward to be able to lie down in that thing.
He's gonna see if they can scout around.
All right, you can spend the ship. When you say scout around, what, are you just looking for material? Are you looking for food? Are you looking for water? What are you doing?
Looking for material. I mention it to Buzz so he can go around scavenging and do some bit of recon.
Okay. Now, I will point out that we're now in sort of strategic play. Shifts are being taken, so he's going to take a shift to do. Each person can do one thing in a shift. So one person can be on sentry duty, one person can be for food, one person can be for water, one person can be looking for scrap, etc. You need to work out. One person can be working on repairing a vehicle, albeit you don't really have the tools to do it. The key point is each person can do one major kind of task. How is that going to be divvied out among the party?
Pairs will probably be Silverslaw.
Okay. I should point out, Soboslav can't actually do those repairs at the moment. They don't have the equipment. I was just giving you an example of a task.
Okay. What do you want to?
I'm pretty sure Rostergam noticed. Was anybody injured? Who like needs any medical treatment?
Dalton has received minor wounds.
Yeah.
You can give me a flat medical aid roll for helping to treat those wounds. Excellent. Dalton, please give me a yes, a stamina roll at +2.
Stamina roll or stamina. All right. +2. Oh, awesome.
+2. Fantastic. You feel fine. The mechanical effect of failure would be the wound becomes infected, but due to your excellent natural immune system and Dr. Rostogram's help, which is what gave you the +2, your wound will just heal naturally. It'll be healed soon, and it's going to be completely fine, no complications.
You mentioned to Silverslaw to go and have a look around for scraps, to repair the vehicle, and
So if Soboslaw wants to do that, Soboslaw can give me a survival roll at -2.
All right.
Okay, all right.
Wow. Oh wow.
Yeah, that is good. So you are scavenging around, and I mean, this just isn't the right kind of place to find Well, I noticed you didn't do it at -2. You did it at normal, but still, even on a -2, you would have gotten a success. You scavenge around. This is the wrong kind of place to find the kind of equipment that you need. You would do far better in an urban area. You're hunting around. You're hunting around. It's just trees. It's trees and grass and piles of logs. Where are you going to find mechanical stuff here? But as you're searching through one pile of logs, you come across a chainsaw, and either like take the chainsaw whole. It has no fuel, or you can scrap it down in exchange for one piece of mechanical scrap. That's not enough on its own, but it's a start.
I'll take it in, and then if there's anything else I can find, I'll determine it. I'll just take it whole for the time being.
All right. Note down somewhere on your sheet that you have a chainsaw. But yeah, other than that, you find nothing.
Right up.
What about Dalton? What are you doing? Are you keeping watch, or are you going hunting for food, or what are you doing?
I'm setting up a fighting position about 10, 20 yards away from the BMP, in the direction of the soldier that crawled off that we were unable to determine. A little concerned that he might find some buddies and come back.
Absolutely.
And so I'm gonna set up like an improvised fighting position, which is basically a foxhole with cover.
Absolutely.
And looking in the southward direction, mainly keeping watch along the road.
All right. You can give me a flat recon roll. Okay. Your watch passes uneventfully. Nothing radical happens. I'm going to take the party back to the combat map. You can move your tokens, move the BMP, etc. around to any place you'd want them to be on this map for where you want to set up your position. If you can't move the token, I'll delete Cross-to-Ground token. Maybe if you put it on the map yourself, you'll be able to control it. Okay, so you're going in for those woods. Where would you want the BMP, and what direction would you want it facing?
Basically,
I think the BMP
we won't
in here somewhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll probably
you
go
want it,
in the midst of that.
You want it in the woodland facing
Yeah.
out so it can take part in a combat, or do you want it well behind the trees where it'll be hard to hit or damage, but it's not really in a good position to fire at things?
I would say we'll put it in the trees so it be in cover, and plus it'll be easy to it can attack as well.
Okay. And for the avoidance of doubt, I have assumed, but please tell me if you want to change it, that you want it facing in roughly this direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
Excellent.
remind me if I'm wrong. Weren't we headed to Opal or wherever you pronounce that?
So I'll take us back to the travel map. So the party
why were we heading there? Because I can't remember that.
Okay. You have successfully negotiated with the people of Crespes to sort of be allowed to take your supplies through, but they're not going to allow the Major and her whole force through on the way to Sestakova. As a result of which, you have to take an alternate route, and you've decided that this is that appropriate route, and you're now essentially going ahead, clearing it, scouting it, making sure that everything's okay.
Yeah. Okay. I remember.
Okay. So, Rostogram, your tending to Dalton's wounds would not have taken an entire shift. Is there anything else you want to do?
So is there still a hole that needs repaired? The one that I became good friends with?
Yes, that is still very much there. You're going to need parts to fill the hole. You don't have the spare metal to hand to do anything about that at the moment. It's kind of unfixable until you get your hands on
Okay, so she knew that.
stuff.
That's fine. I can't think of much that... Well, the only thing I can think of her possibly doing would be going and looking for food at this point. Unless someone has a better idea. Tell me what to... Order the doctor to do something. Assuming that she can find
He'll,
any.
he'll, the Commodore will mention food, and yeah,
Make me
I
a
will need
survival
food.
roll at +1 if you want to forage, or if you want to hunt live game, tell me. That's more complicated, but in theory has bigger.
Foraging is probably better. It's going to attract less attention, presumably as well,
All right.
than firing.
Yes.
With a weapon.
Survival at +1. You scavenge around. You're looking for what you think might be edible mushrooms or berries, that kind of affair. You just can't find something. You do find some mushrooms, but you're not really sure about them, so you decide to leave them. Other than that, yeah, you just come up short. You don't find any food.
Sounds about right.
Okay, so that's that shift over. The shifts are going to continue. Now, the more times you try to do the same thing in the same hex, the harder it gets. So, like, the more times you try and find food, the more times you try and salvage for scrap, it's assumed you've already taken the easy stuff, and it's just getting harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. Also, it's important to know who is keeping watch whilst Dalton is sleeping, and when in the day is Dalton sleeping.
That's a really good question.
But yeah, basically, who's got the second best recon in the party?
What time was the combat? Was that morning?
Yeah, like late morning, early afternoon, round about the sort of midday period.
And we burned a shift already, so what time period are we in now?
The sun is low in the sky. The night period is just about to begin. You've burned evening.
I got a D and plus I got a talent that if I spot any enemies or anything like that.
So what talent do you have that you think does that?
The intelligence.
No, that doesn't make it easier to spot them. Yeah, that just means you know stuff about them when you spot them.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're gonna. Are you saying that you're
got
gonna be
better
on
than
watch?
me- Yeah.
Okay.
If
all
no
right.
one else,
No, I
That's
think
fair.
that Rostrigam has the same recon stats, so.
Rostrigam and Silverstar, you can both give me another survival roll each. This time at -1 on each of them. Okay.
he's still feeling the effects of being.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not seeing a roll from Soberslau. So, as you head into the night, Rostogram, you're not able to find any more food as you're searching. Soberslau doesn't come across any more mechanical pieces of kit. Dalton finally takes his rest, and he's sleeping at roughly the same time as all the rest of you. And we end up in this moment where it is the Commodore sort of alone on watch. The Commodore's period passes uneventfully. Nothing happens during the night. And the sun slowly starts to come up on a gentle day, relatively warm, no threat of rain, and a gentle breeze blowing in north as the sun comes up. What do you plan on doing for your next day?
He pops out to have a look around.
Okay. Oh, I should point out, everybody take a day's worth of food and water off your sheets. So that's, one ration of water, one ration of food. Okay, so you get out, you have a look around.
I don't have any food left.
When you left Praska,
Well, I mean,
everybody. Ah, right.
I had
Left
one left on me. What was I supposed to have?
So Praska gave everybody enough water. Like, they wouldn't have taken you above the limit, but they gave everybody enough water for 3 days and 4. So you now got 2 days worth of water left, everybody, and 3 days worth of food, unless you've got other sources. So, it is the second day. You look around. Nothing remarkable appears to have happened. Life is as it was. What's your plan for the day, Commodore?
He he will go back in and try and have some shut eye while everyone's while Dalton's having it around. Keep him watch.
Okay.
And
Dalton, give me a flat recon. Okay. As you have a look around, you don't really see or hear anything untoward. It's a quiet day, or at least a quiet morning. Soberslow and Rosterground, what are you planning on doing?
There's it's kind of hard to tell just from the overall travel map, but there's not really much in the way of civilization that we would be able to reach in like a shift or two for exploration purposes.
You could reach, aside from a pole. You could reach a pole on foot in a shift.
Okay, adjacent hex, got it. Although if the Commodore is getting shut-eye, it's probably not a good idea to wander off away from the rest of the group.
Yeah, better to stick together until everyone's actually up.
Yeah. Well, then I
and
guess
remember
there's not much she's doing.
Yeah. The hexes, when you say wander off, the hexes are 10-kilometer hexes, so like if anything bad would have happened to you, they would not know. So, okay. So, yeah, you wait patiently. You have been searching the area for food and found nothing. You've resigned yourself to not finding any more food, it seems. Soberslow, are you doing anything?
Unfortunately, I think my hands are tied for the time being.
Well, until the group decides to do, or if the group at any point says we do anything different, I'm going to assume just keep waiting. Dalton can give me 2 more recon rolls for the remainder of the day, and the Commodore can give me 1. All right. Commodore?
I'm doing it
Okay.
now.
Sorry, yeah, a bit of delay there. So, the rest of the day passes uneventfully. There's no animals coming nearby, despite the howl of the wolves that you may be able to hear on that track. No animals come nearby, no deer, no people, no sounds of vehicles. It's completely uneventful. Everybody, as the next day comes, mark 1 day worth of water and 1 day worth of food off of your sheets. You now have 1 day's worth of water, 2 days worth of food. It is the next day. What do you do?
I think we take our chances and slip into a pole and see if we can't find food
Yeah,
and water and maybe
Yeah,
maybe some material to repair the tank with.
he goes,
Definitely.
he goes, Salfasal, can you drive us in safely
I could
into a
definitely
pole?
try, yes.
Right. I will say, because that's like a 10-kilometer drive roughly, there is a chance that the BMP will break down more severely. It will be based on a driving roll.
We're also a bit of a target if we're driving in, or at least we're easier to spot.
Yeah, I think if we're on
with our paint
foot,
job.
it's a little safer.
as well.
Because can
But still, it would risk the gearbox to just completely break down and completely total the entire vehicle itself. So I believe it'd be more safer to go on foot instead.
okay, we're gonna have to send 2 people forward to go and do a recon. I'm not gonna order anyone, but if you want to volunteer for it,
I'll do it.
I can go.
All right. If it's just going to be a 2-man team, then the actual travel there is in no way difficult. Dalton and Soboslav can both give me recon rolls.
and he would mention we need water as well.
Okay. Dalton doesn't particularly notice anything. Soboslav rather. Soboslav doesn't particularly notice anything. However, Dalton, as you are approaching Opole, you notice the very obvious river that the town or large town sits on. However, you know that drinking surface water is probably not the best plan. The town itself is heavily ruined. There are not very many tall buildings left. There's lots of rubble. There are a few intact lower buildings, and I think might, as you sort of like on a rise, looking out over the whole city, you think that you might see maybe tiny signs of movement near the water. Not entirely sure about that, though. It's so far away, it's specks shifting.
Am I seeing this through my scope or just with naked eye?
Yes. No, that's with the scope. Naked eye, it would be impossible.
Yeah. Well, I would relay to Slobosaw that I'm seeing movement, but I'm unable to determine whether it's human or animal.
We gotta be
And look
cautious
to
then.
look to him for a decision on whether we continue it or not.
Proceed with caution. We can't really go back anymore, can we? Better to proceed with caution.
Okay.
Definitive caution.
Both give me flat recon rolls as you go in. Okay. All right. As you head into the town of Opole, you're not challenged. Nothing particularly happens. You don't come in straight down the main road. You sort of like come in a side suburb, etc. You hop over an old fence that was clearly once a garden, and start moving through the ruins of homes. Most of them lack their roofs. Some of them lack their upper stories. There's lots of signs of heavy battle damage just everywhere. Nothing appears to happen as you move into this area. You're not accosted, you're not challenged, there are no barking dogs. You're aware of the general sounds of like low-level wildlife like birds and so forth, but nothing else.
I suggest that we start searching any houses or any businesses that are not completely destroyed and may contain food and water items we can gather.
Absolutely. Okay, you can both give me survival rolls. These will be modified. Let me just look up how large the modifier is. Okay, well, Draco decided to roll before they got the modifier. But Dalton can give me the roll at +2. Okay, so you both start searching for homes, like little corner shops and post offices with signs in Polish that you maybe not entirely understanding. There's not a huge amount here. It's very obvious that lots of people have had this idea before you. But as you're going through, Soboslaw is able to find in a garage some useful pieces of equipment turning into a second piece of mechanical scrap. You think you don't quite have enough to fix the gearbox yet, but you're most of the way there. Meanwhile, Dalton, as you're going through, you don't find any water, at least not any water that you think is safe. There's some stuff that, I mean, it's water, but you're not sure you trust it. I leave that entirely up to you. But you do find what appears to be some like very dried out preserved meat. It's going to be tough as heck, but it's there, and it's sort of like in the back of a cupboard where whoever was coming through here before just missed it. And it's enough meat for one day for 2 people.
All right, I'm going to gather that stuff up, put it in my cargo pocket. Not the water.
Okay. I'll just pitch back briefly to the camp before we go into the next shift of the day. Commodore, Rostogram, what are you doing whilst these two are in the city of Apol town?
He's just sleeping and trying to get some shut eye from taking a shift last night.
That means that
Alright.
Rustigam is watching the perimeter.
Yep, Rostogram, give me
Yeah.
that recon roll, flat. Okay, alright. With that one success, you're not entirely sure. Maybe something's moving in the trees a little way to your south. You have no idea what it is. It could be a badger, well, not at this time of day, but it could be an animal for all you know. It's just a bit of movement, nothing more than that. It doesn't appear to approach you or in any way.
Well, it might just be paranoia. So she's going to just let it go for now. Sorry, team, if that ends up being a problem later, but that's what she's doing.
All right. We go into the next shift of the day. Team Opal, do you continue scavenging or do you do anything differently? I should point out that this is the last shift for nighttime. The next shift will be nighttime.
I think we find another. We just keep searching houses or businesses and try to gather as much material as we can.
Excellent. You can both give me survival rolls at +1. All right.
Oops, I missed one, but that's all right.
Get a success. Soboslaw.
Take it.
You can give me a survival roll at +1.
What?
All right. As you are both searching through this area, you're not, again, finding a huge amount of use. Dalton, as you're searching through, are able to find what looks like maybe a can of peaches. The sell-by date has passed, but it's only passed, well, not by like a month or two, and it's tinned. It's probably fine. And
We can always use it as a laxative
oh no, you go first.
if we need to.
Yes, indeed. But that's it. Soboslaw, you find a well in the back of like someone's garden in like Old Town area. This is obviously taken from the water table or some kind of underground water source. That is more likely to clean water. But yeah, you have found a well. What do you do with it?
Definitely mark it to some place to remember, as well as probably get some of the empty. Probably get some of the water, just in case. Refill for the water supply.
Okay, all right. Do that. Can each. I'm thinking how to do this. Okay, if you take entirely from the well, like fill up your canteens and the other little bits and bobs that you've got on you, you can both go back up to enough water for 3 days, but for each one of you. However, at that point, you then run out of container space. You'd need, if you want to collect more water, you're going to need a bigger container to do it.
I'll probably just take 1 day's worth for everyone.
Okay.
Just one.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that pretty much fills up your containers doing that. That takes the whole time. It is now nighttime. We'll start with Team Opole. What do you do?
So, what is the night sky like? Is it is the moon
It's
up? Can we see using
Yeah,
moonlight, or is it pitch black?
it's there's little to no cloud cover. Obviously, there are no street lights or light pollution getting in the way anymore. It's not a full moon; it's like half moon. But you've got enough light to be able to navigate by moonlight. It's clear, lack of clouds.
All right, then I would suggest to the lieutenant that we take what we found and head back to the BMP at night.
Okay. Does Sobazo agree? I'm just going to leave that then. So, Team BMP, night has fallen upon you. You have not heard from your comrades. What do you do?
Well, we're gonna have the until daybreak,
I didn't hear
so
that, Meg.
he'll go and watch again.
Okay.
Down what he'll go and watch to daybreak. He's gonna give him to daybreak just so to get back, because yeah.
Okay, in that case, absolutely everybody other than Rostergram, who is sleeping, can give me recon rolls.
Silver Sun, everyone.
Okay. So, Commodore Wolf doesn't really notice anything during the night, except towards the end of the night, you notice two shapes approaching your camp quite directly. What do you do?
He speaks in English, friend or foe.
Okay, yeah, you worked it out. It wasn't exactly difficult. Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay.
no one's been.
You are reunited. The team
No one's been
brings.
through.
You know, all of it. Yeah, the team brings enough food for 3 people for 1 day, and enough water for everyone for 1 day.
Yeah. Hmm. still haven't got enough. So we still don't have enough resources to patch up the tank.
Oh, you feel like
Unfortunately.
you might need a little bit more mechanical scrap to do it, and then of course it will take time for the repairs to be done. That also won't go to actually fixing up the armor hole. That's going to require even more stuff.
Okay.
I think primarily we should get the thing, the transmission or the gearbox working. We don't need to worry about the hole so
Yeah,
much.
that's the problem. We need more to fix it. Get more. Yeah.
What was your opinion of O'Pool, Sergeant? Lieutenant?
Pretty devastated.
It's definitely devastating, but there is a source of completely clean water in an area of the old town. The older areas of it. And there was also a garage. So I don't believe we have been able to actually look fully in detail to actually cross-reference every single detail of it. So
Well, the night will pass uneventfully.
Yeah.
Your sleep patterns are a bit out of whack though. So Dalton, Wolf, and Soberslau are all going to have to sleep through the morning period, or you're going to start taking negative effects. Is that something you want to do?
yeah, I'll take a sleep.
Sleep.
Yep.
Cool.
Doctor's
to
orders. Go to sleep.
Go
I'm
sleep.
Yeah.
going to fuck this sleep.
Absolutely. Okay. In that case, Rostergram, you can make me a recon roll. All right. You don't quite know why, but the hairs on the back of your neck are standing on end. Can't put a finger on it.
God's trying
Something's
to warn me
iffy.
about something.
Can't
Yeah.
see or hear anything though. But that's all. That's all you get. As we go into the midday period.
So we're all
Everybody,
awake at this
yeah,
point. Right?
everyone's awake now. Everybody needs to take a day of food and water off their sheets, which means that you've got. Let me see. 1.5 days worth of food. Yeah, because like food for 3 people brought up. So you've got you're low on both now. You would have been out of water had it not been the actions of the other group. You've still got a day's worth of water left due to their actions, and you've got, as a party, you've got about a day's worth of food.
He goes, okay,
I don't think we should stay in that position for too much longer.
I agree, but
Well, I'm wondering where our help is.
yeah. He goes and radios through.
Mhm.
How long they'll be.
There's a bit of time, and they'll radio back, and they will say that support is. They're going to have the ability to send a vehicle to you with equipment in about 2 days' time.
He goes. He looks at everyone. He says, 2 days' time, but I don't think we can last here for 2 days' time.
And we didn't.
He radios through.
I don't want to waste ammunition hunting. So
He radios
gonna have to
through
move.
and he radios through and says, we've been in this location for too long. We need to start moving.
They'll radio back and say, "Very well. Keep us apprised of your new position."
Yep. He goes, why don't we fall back to going back to Upper Seoul? Upper this small city.
Oh, Kluxburg. Yep. Okay.
Kluxable. Because it means we can suss out that town as well.
Alright, I believe that could possibly work because
Yeah.
intact.
Okay. If you want to do
Then-
that, if the party as a whole wants to do that, you can make me a driving roll at minus 3.
Let me have a look. It'll be. So, does this have wheels?
No,
The
it's a tracked vehicle.
vehicle.
Ah, okay. Yep. So minus
Hey,
3.
I'll be right back. Give me a sec.
Okay, so that's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do that, and you're fine. The gearbox holds. It doesn't shatter or anything along those lines, and you are able to get to Kluxburg, which is a bit more intact than a pole, without incident. And that takes one shift of your time. There's the evening shift and the night shift left to go until you get to the new day.
Okay, he goes, we can scout out now, around the village, because he pulls into the village off the road. Park it in some foliage or in some heavy trees.
Yep, you can do that without difficulty.
He goes, Dalton, and Salvasa, he goes, we need to get out and scout around.
What are we scouting for? Food and water,
Food,
materials, or are we looking for enemy?
food, materials, and water, all of it. And keep a lookout. We may have enemies around here because the tracks were sabotaged.
Everyone who's doing that, getting involved in that effort, can make me a survival roll. Be aware, though, that at least you're really pushing it. So if lots of you are doing it, you are going to have reduced benefits. The system is designed for only one person to do each thing. How in a shift, you're all going to do the same thing. I'll let you do it, but it's sort of like overfishing the Atlantic. We'll get diminishing returns. Okay, so Wolf and Dalton, Rostogram, are you going to be helping with survival?
Sure, she'll probably feel guilted enough to help out in some way.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, since Soboslaw is not here, I'll roll off Soboslaw's sheet. Okay. So you do all that. The vast majority of you find nothing. Rostogram, however, finds enough food for one person for one day by scavenging berries and mushrooms and other pieces of foliage. Other than that, it has not been a very beneficial day of searching. And then head into night shift, where either people are going to need to start sleeping or take negative effects, but you could keep searching for food and water and so forth if you wanted to.
Back what I missed.
Searching for stuff, you didn't find much.
Yeah, we didn't find anything.
Rostergam will probably go to bed because I think the last time she slept was nightfall.
Yeah.
The day before.
Alright, Rostergram's asleep.
I'll be on watch.
Dalton's on watch.
I'll go
I'll be on
for a
second
sleep.
So
watch.
Dalton. Okay. Well, no, not quite. Okay, yeah, you can do it when Dalton's sleeping. Morning period. And what about the Commodore? Are you sleeping, or are you continuing to search?
Sleeping.
Okay, Dalton, please give me a recon roll. All right. The night passes uneventfully. Keep an eye on the village from your positions in the tree line. Nothing appears to be happening down there. No meaningful activity. In fact, none at all. And as the sun rises, everybody mark off one portion of food and one portion of water from your sheets. The vast majority of you are now out of water. It is 1 day until you are due to receive repair parts. And your food is now almost entirely gone. What is your plan? I will remind you that whilst, yes, it may
it's going
consume
to be a risk,
ammunition,
but he's like,
and that
well, if we he's like, we may have to go back to Prosco to get more supplies, and you may be able to get resources.
And patch up the vehicle, yes?
you can give me that driving roll at -3
Yeah.
if that is what you plan to do.
He's going to do that because looking at the resources, he's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to risk the health of the party.
Although we still have an option to hunt.
Do. And as I was going to say, hunting. Yeah, hunting has a chance of failure, but if you get it right, you can get a lot of food out of it. It's like, higher risk, higher reward version of foraging.
Yeah, but
foraging, it's difficult to get to go wrong, but it's difficult to get lots of food for lots of people.
yeah, but we are out of water, so it's like, yeah, we need to go back.
Okay. So yeah, you go back. You head back to Praska, and you are welcomed back in without difficulty. The gearbox again doesn't fritz out, and you're shepherded back into the motor pool where the remaining little pieces of kit and so forth that you repairs are provided. Give me a tech roll, Soboslav, for your attempts to repair.
Oh, what?
A tech roll.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, once you've got all of the pieces of kit given to you, fixing the gearbox doesn't take you that long. It just takes you one shift. So in theory, you're ready to go out again by the time of like late afternoon. However, as you're going back to Watermaster to get food and water again, he gives you enough water for 3 days, enough food for 4 days again, but will say words to the effect of, you do realize that when we send people out on these long-term missions, we expect them to fend for themselves. You gotta get your own food and water as you move. You can't keep coming back, and we can't keep supplying you like this.
Well, we needed the parts to come back.
Well,
Just
I think in the future, these are Soviet parts. We don't have a lot of this. If something like this happens again, I think you're gonna have to do it yourselves. We can't this again.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye out if we find any parts like that again. Parts, so we'll keep it on hand.
Do that. And then he'll hand over the supplies. So you've got everyone's got water for 3 days, food for 4. The gearbox is fixed, and like a piece of metal is put over the hole in your armor. It is clearly not armor; it is just metal. So the armor value of that piece of your vehicle has decreased. I'm making a note of that on your sheet until you get it like properly fixed.
He will go. Okay. He'll go up and speak to the major to get an extra person just on his team to go with him to be on the safe side.
Did we lose Tolbeck and the other person?
So Tolbeck's in Sestakova, and Crispin, his fingers could not be restored to functionality, so he's on light duties. He's not combat capable anymore.
And we'll start heading out.
All right. When you ask the major for that, she will say, "Is there any particular set of skills that you feel you require?"
Heavy weapons.
He thinks about it and then he goes, someone who's good at already got a spotter, but we probably need another spotter to be on the safe side.
Want somebody who is good?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want another infantryman who is talented at reconnaissance work. And she steps away for a moment, has a bit of a think, and then drafts up like a little scrap of paper, writes a note, signs it off, hands it over to you, and says, "Take this to Private Westerback. Be in the collection of tents. This is orders to join you." You can tell she's not happy about this, but she's giving you what you want because this is something that absolutely needs to succeed. But that you've come limping back has not sat well with the major.
He goes, plus, when we go past a pole, if we got water barrels, we can actually refill all them water barrels at a pole. We found a well there specifically.
And I suggest that you find or build your own water barrels.
Yeah. He goes and he says, we encountered some Soviets along the road to a pole.
That is concerning, though not entirely surprising. There are minor pockets of resistance everywhere. Were you able to clear them out?
Yes, but I believe one of them got away. We don't know where to.
She nods her head and has a think about that, and says, "Well, thank you for drawing that to my attention. We will be alert, but the fundamental plan remains unchanged. If we are not to go through Prespeace, we must go through that road. It is the only other option available to us."
I'm just pre-warning you just in case there is anyone from the south.
Okay.
And leaves and to go to get the private.
Okay. You enter the tent city, and it's much as it was before. It's relatively well kept and put together, but you get the feeling that it's only relatively well kept and put together because people are forcing it to be that way. It's one step away from being a tip, but they're nonetheless got stuff relatively up together. And after a little bit of searching around, you eventually come across a relatively short, brown-haired man who answers to the name of Private Westerback.
Private Westerback. And he hands
Yes, sir. Right.
The letter that the major gave to him.
Okay. There's a moment where he's not quite sure if he should salute you because again, uniform's unfamiliar. But after a while, he thinks, that's enough gold on your sleeve. I should probably salute that," and he does. And then...
He's back. He goes.
Excellent.
Yeah, he says we're going on a mission. Make sure you get your stuff together and meet us at the motor pool.
Yes, sir. And he grabs his M16, which, as a fun little side bit, also has a underslung grenade launcher. And he will gather his kit. It doesn't take long. It's just picking up a backpack. And he'll follow you to your BMP. He looks at it a bit curiously. "This is what we're driving in?"
Yeah.
Sir?
Yep.
Very well. He sounds uncertain, but he's not going to argue with you. And he clambers into the back as ordered.
He goes, might need that gun, and you have enough food, and make sure you get enough food and supply water for.
Yeah. He goes off to the quartermaster and he comes back a few minutes later. He's got the same amount of food and water as the rest of you.
Yep.
Oh, so he doesn't have anything.
No, he's got 3 days of water, 4 days of food.
He goes,
Or are we all resupplied in that?
Yes,
regard
everyone was resupplied. But you were basically told, you've got to look after yourselves when you're going out there again. Like, you can't do this again.
Right.
He goes, make sure to look for any supplies, and Draco, can you make sure to look for scrap metal when we go through cities, just in case we need to repair again, because we have to look after ourselves. But this is Sergeant, can you look after the young private here?
Absolutely.
From the road.
He seems more nervous of the sergeant than the commodore, probably with good reason. But probably stiffened slightly.
Yeah, I'm giving him the size him up look, kind of like a senior NCO would do to a new person.
Yeah. I mean, it's notable that he's lived this long. Most of the people who live this long tend to have something about them. But he otherwise seems relatively unremarkable. He's clearly, from his age and general appearance, and also his equipment, a part of the, shall we say, like the wave of mass conscription that was very poorly trained and poorly equipped at the very end. Like the last bit of reinforcements you got, clearly one of them. But other than that, it's hard to make out much about the kind of man he might be.
Let's see. So this Sergeant First Class Dalton would ask him, "What's your MOS, son? What job did you perform for the Army?"
Just a rifleman, Sergeant.
All right. Well, we all are, no matter the job.
But I received no special training beyond that, Sergeant.
He goes,
All right.
the lieutenant over here is the radiation expert.
Yes.
Yeah, and our tech expert as well. This is our good doctor here, so she'll be patching you up if you get injured.
Nods.
Her specialty. So if we end up going through radiation spots or anything like that, our radiation expert will make sure to double check before we go in.
He nods. Yes, sir.
And he hops in the driver's seat to start the engine to go.
Fair enough. Now it is afternoon, late afternoon. You're heading into the evening shift. Do you want to drive back out towards the pole?
Yep.
You can give me a
yep.
flat driving roll now that everything's fine. Okay. Oh, excellent. I just need to do counting down your fuel. So... Eight. Okay, all right. So yes, you drive out. The BMP moves at a fair old clip on the road. It's not as fast as the M113, but it's okay. And in one shift of driving uninterrupted, you can get as far as there. Nothing bad happens to you. You are not ambushed again. There doesn't appear to be any kind of interference as you're driving along. And your journey is smooth and uneventful. It is now nighttime. What do you do?
He hides it in a bunch of trees and bushes so we can rest up.
I assume Dalton is on watch?
Yes.
Give me that recon. Okay. Ooh, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do this in the back. Okay, yeah, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing happens. See or believe nothing unusual is occurring. And the sun comes up without issue. Everybody can mark a day of food and water off their sheets, so you're at 2 and 3. And it is the morning. What do you do? Do you continue on? Do you have a different plan?
He continues going through, and he'll stop at a pole to fill out at the water.
Okay. So yeah, give me a flat driving roll.
The water.
Yeah. Okay, so you drive into a pole, and driving along, and as you do it, you are in the tight, heavily damaged city streets with constricted vision. You realize at one point that you crash into something. You don't appear to suffer any particular damage or anything to your vehicle. Everything seems fine. But as you're driving along in the future, stuff seems like a little... it's very vague and hard to pin down. And when you look at individual systems, it's hard to work out what happened. Mechanically, the reliability of your vehicle has decreased from 5 to 4. It can be fixed. And the lower your reliability is, the easier it is for stuff to go wrong. And at the bottom end of reliability, it just doesn't work anymore.
Yes. Savasa, something seems off.
Let me have a look.
Okay, so you stop up to make these kinds of views and repairs. That is shift work. So Sobislav's going to have to give a tech roll, and we'll have to spend the whole shift doing that. Excellent.
Yeah.
With the tools at your ability, this is very minor work. You're able to get the BMP back up to proper functionality, but it does take you a whole shift. It will also take a whole shift for someone to restock all the water. So someone needs to volunteer to do that.
Rustigam can do that if someone points her to the direction of the well.
Excellent. Rustigam. Well, you can't. You're doing. you're doing repairs.
It's like, it's just over
Yeah,
that
you
hill.
could.
Okay.
It's in the old town. If you could see a pretty old looking well, it's there.
Okay. All right, Lieutenant.
Dalton, go with her. You guys, Dalton, make sure you go with her.
Will do.
Good.
Dalton's going with. Commodore, what do you do during this period?
He's keeping a watch out, and he'll get the new one to the private to keep a watchful eye out.
Okay, you can
As
make
well.
me a recon roll, flat. Okay, Westerback doesn't see or hear anything strange, and as you're looking around, you don't see or hear anything strange either. Rostergram and Dalton, you can both give me survival rolls. Flat. Okay, Dalton 1. Rostergram gets nothing. So the well, you already know where it is. You top back up to 3 days worth of water for everyone. That fills your containers. Dalton, what would you rather find? Would you rather find food, or would you rather find empty containers?
Well, we can't eat an empty container.
We can put stuff in an empty container.
That's
if we hunt something.
true.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll take the empty containers.
All right. You find a sort of large, sealable, airtight kind of plastic box that you put all sorts of things in, including water or food, etc. And it doesn't take up space or anything along those lines in your vehicle container. The main thing is that it can hold things. So you could hold food in there, you could hold water in there without it sloshing about. And in terms of water, it's got enough space in it for one person for like 4 days. I'll note that in the BMP sheet that you've just got a container that size for extra water.
Yeah, I think we'll fill it with water and take it with us.
Absolutely.
Food we can live without for a day or two, but water we got to have every day.
Yep. All right. So you have that. Because you're near a water source, you're not going to consume water. If you are on this tile when the day passes, you will, however, if you move off it. It took the morning shift to move here. It took the afternoon shift to scavenge, repair the vehicle, etc. You've got the evening shift and the night shift left to go in this day. What do you do?
He parks the vehicle in, like, try and camouflage it into the village itself. So, we can just stay the night until the next morning so we can move out.
Absolutely fair. You've got like one shift of activity where you can be doing things really other than sleeping. Do you want to do anything with that shift?
He's gonna
To kind of
just keep
scout down by the river to see what was moving down there from our last little trip.
All right. Dalton, you can give me a recon roll flat. Okay. As you go down to the river, you don't see or hear anyone or anything of particular interest. Nobody's moving around. There's no sign of a fire or anything along those lines. But as you get right down to the waterfront, you notice what appear to be fishing traps that are set up in the river. And from the look of it, as in the amount of algae and gunk and so forth that is piling up on these fishing traps, they have recently been cleaned.
They've recently been cleaned.
Yeah, as in like a couple of days. It's not the sort of thing that's been sitting there for weeks unmaintained or months.
Are they in the water or are they on the shore?
They're in the water as though they're waiting to catch fish.
Without removing one, can I tell if the trap's been set off?
In theory, yes, but you'd have to like wade into the water to do it without special tools. If you had special tools, like a great big long hook, you would be able to do it without going into the water.
I'm gonna look around on the ground around where the traps are and see if I can see footprints and determine if they were how recent they were, if I can.
Okay. With that recon roll, it's very difficult because you're near. I mean, this was a town, so not a huge amount of the riverfront is mud and grass. Most of it is tile and concrete and brick and built up. But you do find a little bit where there appears to have been some disturbance. You can't quite tell how long ago, though, or quite where it went off. It's certainly, more than a day, though. It's not fresh.
Okay, I'm going to head back and tell the Commodore that I found fishing traps that look like they've been cleaned and set recently, but I can't find any evidence of anybody moving in the area. But I would suspect that somebody has to be. I just don't see any evidence of it.
Let's keep a watchful eye out for tonight while we're staying here. Because we don't know.
What about Soberslau, Rostogram, and the Commodore? What do you do with your shift?
He's keeping a watchful eye out, just in case there is any surprises or anything like that.
Yep. Give me a flat recon. Okay. It's the evening in a haunted, only haunted by your imaginations, but in a sort of abandoned, heavily battle damaged, decaying city. The sun is starting to go down. Shadows may occasionally play tricks with your paranoid mind as you think about the life of the various people who once would have lived here, now long since obliterated. But nothing actually happens, and you don't see or spot anything concrete. What about Rostogram and Soberslau? What do you do with the shift?
Well, it's too dark to do any more exploring. Otherwise, she'd be exploring. So I guess that means she's probably not doing anything.
It's evening. The sun hasn't gone down yet. Next shift is night. So, and it's the summertime, so there is still sun in the evening.
Okay. Well, the first building that doesn't look like it's falling apart, she'll probably just probably just go in and try to get a feel of what this building was for. Or if
Okay, yeah, you can give me a flat survival roll. All right.
I mean, it'd be really great if she found a Russian to English dictionary, but this is not the right locale.
Yeah, you're poking around. You kind of get the feeling that all the easy pickings in this city are gone, and it will be increasingly hard to find supplies here. Not impossible, because it's still better than most places, but also you've been here a while. You're starting to search the same place more than once, but you haven't gone out because you don't want to go too far away from your vehicle. But there's a lot of this place that's still unexplored. The most intact building find that doesn't look as though it's been utterly trashed appears to once have been a small chain supermarket kind of affair. But absolutely everybody looted this place dry long ago. So there's nothing on the shelves that isn't rotten.
All right, then.
Even things like magazines and so forth are largely gone, presumably burnt for fuel.
Well, presumably she has some sort of map on her, so she might just update. Like, there's a mall here, but there's nothing useful here. And that's about all she's gonna do.
Interestingly, no, you don't. The only map you have on your possession is one at like the scale of the travel map. You don't have a town map or anything like that, unless you're drawing one yourself, which you can do. You sketch a map out if you want on a piece of paper. You have that tool.
You know, she actually, I think it would make sense for her to have done that, at the very least, to be able to mark out the position of the well. So that if anyone else, if she was needing to give anybody else directions, that she would have that.
Excellent. That's a good plan. Give me a... what would that be? Give me either a econ roll or a tech roll, your choice, for effectively how well you draw the map. Yeah, all right. You actually draw it pretty decently. You know, it's vaguely
Steady hands
to
of a
scale.
surgeon.
Yep. You managed to identify appropriate landmarks that would be useful for the map. It's a good map. Good map.
Mhm.
Okay, so you draw that up. Sobazar, are you doing anything?
Well, supposing if the vehicle itself requires a little more maintenance, try to double check, make sure it doesn't sputter out like last time.
You know it's fine. You don't need to do another check. You have prepared it to the maximum possible ability in your previous shift.
I suppose I could look around for some potential means. Just get some stuff just in case something like this happens again, so I could just put it back together right then and there.
Sure. Give me a survival roll at +2, because you're not looking for food. Alright, you find nothing. You go through, the garages attached to the sides of houses. You look underneath the sort of ruins of wrecked out cars, and everything has either been looted already or is busted beyond usefulness or rusted through. You don't get anything that would be useful.
Oh, that's a shame, but I suppose next time will be something.
Okay. Alright, so who's got watch during the night shift?
I'll do it.
Alright, give me a flat recon roll.
Yep.
Okay. A little something. Okay, yeah, nothing, absolutely nothing happens. It is a calm, eerily quiet night. The wind whispering through the abandoned streets, creating a gentle wind tunnel effect. Has an echoey, moaning, hollow noise to it. But other than the slightly sinister appearance of the night itself is entirely uneventful. As morning rises, what do you do?
Heading out to the next town.
Excellent. Since you started your shift here, right next to the well, you don't consume any water, but do all consume 1 day's worth of food. And you will now start heading towards Dobdizien. Please make me a flat driving roll.
Okay. Just leave it.
All right.
That's not better.
Yeah, it is. So you drive along the road to Dobdizien, and in a single shift, you are able to get there. You get there without incident. Nothing ambushes you. There's some obstructions in the road, but it's largely potholes from previous battles, an abandoned vehicle that has been rusted through, and you're able to drive around those with absolutely no difficulty. As you approach Dobdizien, Dalton, and only Dalton, give me a recon roll.
Okay.
All right. So you're sort of, looking through the various viewports and so forth of the vehicle as best you can. At extreme range, you might even unbutton it and poke your head out. And you can see that the town is not in as good shape as Crespis. It's got more damaged buildings, but it's better. It's in a way better state than Opole. Some of the buildings here have clearly been repaired, but you see very little sign of life in the town as you approach around about the midday period.
Does this place have a little church or something?
Yeah, there's definitely a church, but it is, however, one of the more damaged buildings. It has not been repaired.
Okay. He pulls up to the center of town, and
Right.
he goes, "Can you guys have a look at, see if there's any signs of life around here?"
What do the rest of you do?
Of course, I'll go look. It sounded like an order, so.
And that sounded like
Yeah.
sarcasm. But
No, it's.
He wants
all
to make
fine, it's
sure.
fine.
He wants to make sure the civilians are fine.
yeah, okay. Well, everyone who's searching, people who are staying in the vehicle can't do this, but everybody who's getting out of the vehicle and searching can make me recon rolls.
Might as well just hop out. Stretch his legs.
All right. Okay, so Wolf, you're walking through the streets, always sort of staying within sight of the BMP. You don't really see or find anything. No clues about anything at all, really. Rostogram and Dalton, as you're walking through the streets, again, you find and see no signs of habitation. Until one of you has the idea of walking up to one of the more intact buildings. You can tell me whether or not you choose to enter it, but before you make that decision, you have the idea of like peering through the windows. And one of them's got curtains that seem in relatively decent state. And looking through, you can see a very neat-looking, like open-plan kitchen. However, there's no sign of any food in there, or any life in there, or any people. But it's clean and tidy and clearly lived in.
Well, I'm going to do a tactical entry, weapon up, ready to engage, and try to enter the building quietly.
Right. You'll do that. You are met with a locked door. Do you force the locked door, or do you try and find some other way around that problem?
I think I would start checking windows, maybe look for the back door.
Okay. The back door's easy to find. That is also locked. You start testing windows. They're all in some way locked, but one of the windows has got give in it, because rather than having a key turn lock, it's one of those sorts of things where you've got like a metal bar that's got 5 holes in it, and you just put it on a peg for however open and closed you want it. And it's on a peg hole that would keep the window closed, but it's a bit rattly.
Are there doormats on either the front or the rear door?
I'm going to say that. Yeah, I'm going to say that there is a doormat on the inside of the front door, and you can kind of see it when you look through one of the other windows.
Well, I meant outside, someplace to hide.
No. You can give me.
Do I see any fake rocks?
Rocks.
Yeah. You start looking under flower pots and fake rocks and the kinds of places where you would classically hide a key, but you don't find any key.
Okay. Is there enough give in the window that I can slip my combat knife in there and knock the
The bar
device
out of
that's
the way?
holding it. Yeah, knock the bar
you
out
can-
of the way.
Yeah, you can give me a close combat roll or a recon roll, your choice.
Well, let's try this one. We haven't done this one in a while.
All right.
Nothing happens.
You're definitely able to get your knife in there, but the difficulty is then bending up in such a way as that you can knock the bar, and you can't quite angle it. You can't quite get it there. You're like millimeters
Right.
out, but you can't quite do it.
Rostergam's taking off her backpack, looking at her surgical tools, wondering if any of those might be have any more finesse than a knife. But I doubt that there's
You can do the same recon or close combat, but with more finesse to your tools, you can give it at a +1.
I am tempted just to do close combat, just because I've never done it before. But I probably should stick to recon.
All right. So you're using one of your surgical tools, maybe a scalpel or something along those lines, and because it's finer, you're able to angle it a little more in the same gap, and you just catch the little metal bar, and you're just able to push it off the peg. There's resistance. At one point, you think that you might actually snap your tool, but you just get it off, and the window is unlocked and is intact.
Well, thank God that didn't break. She'll turn to Dalton and just go, I never thought I'd be using a surgical tool for breaking and entering.
It was a surgical entry.
Oh.
I'm going to try and quietly raise the window and try to make entry into the building.
Okay. Gradually pull the window up. There's a bit of a creak as it's sort of like one of the ones that just tilts outward, and there's a bit of in the joint. That's unavoidable. Nothing appears to happen when you make that noise. Slowly, you step into this particular room. Goes into a window. Goes into a living room. The living room. There's a sofa. There is the space where there would once have been a TV. I mean, there is still a TV. It's definitely not going to be showing anything anytime soon. There's a bookcase with a couple of books on it. It's dusted. It's clean. It's tidy. But there's absolutely no sound of life anywhere in the building.
Someone's
All right. Well, I'm gonna gesture to Rostergam to come on in behind me. I'm going to maintain a tactical stance, or a crouched tactical stance with the weapon, just in case, and help her into the room if she needs it.
Right.
Hopefully she can.
As you're
climb in,
going, oh yeah, you can climb in without difficulty. This is all ground floor.
Okay.
As you start moving, like room by room, how detailed is your search? Are you just looking for obvious places where a person could be? What are you doing?
I'm looking for, somebody hiding. I'm looking for evidence of how recent somebody may have been in the building, and taking note of, if there's any materials or anything in there that we could find useful, maps, any indication of what's going on in the area, that type of thing. Intelligence type stuff.
Yeah. So as you are moving through this building, the creak of floorboards under your heavy boots, every now and again you think, ooh, what was that noise? But you realize it was just yourself moving around. You enter the kitchen, which you previously saw. Again, everything in there is neat. You open one or two of the larger cupboards, which conceivably someone could hide in if they sort of like curled their legs up. As you do this, you don't find any sign of food, but you don't find empty tins, empty containers, anything along those lines. It's as though it was properly and neatly cleaned out, not looted or ransacked. Do notice that there appears to be a water barrel that is sort of set up for water collection, and it is slightly, only ever so slightly, full. There's not a lot in there, but there's a bit.
And this is inside?
Yeah, it's been piped in from inside. There's a little sort of hole in the top corner of the room where somebody's clearly cut a channel, and like drain piping has been put into the inside of the property. But yeah, that's there in the kitchen. Keep going through the house. You go into the sort of the corridor. There's a hat. There's a coat stand where people would put coats and hats. On there is a woman's hat, slightly ornate one, that is in good condition, not moth-eaten, still got decent colours to it. It's just there. There's no other coats or anything like that there. Go slowly up the stairs, wondering what could be leaping out at any moment. The first room that you come across is a master bedroom. Again, the bed is made. Things are neat and clean and orderly. There's a closet. That one is actually left open, and you can see some clothes in there, slightly casual clothes, and a lot of empty coat hangers. You look under the bed.
Nothing.
There's
no military clothing or anything that looks military at all in this closet.
No, this all looks very civilian. You look
Okay.
under the bed, classic hiding place. You don't find anything there, but you do find deep drag marks that lead in and out from under the bed on the carpet, as though something heavy were dragged out from under there not too long ago.
So these drag marks, would they be indicative of a person or like a storage case?
Definitely more like a storage case.
Okay. But the case isn't there.
The case isn't there, no. It's drag marks where a case once was. It's as though somebody stored something under their bed and they just took it away.
It could have been a suitcase, could have been a gun case, it could have been anything like that.
It could indeed.
Okay.
Keep searching. There's a bathroom with lots and lots of empty cabinets, but again, it's clean, it's well maintained. It's also interesting that the toilet appears to be clean and maintained, which means does this house have a functioning indoor toilet? Really? Keep going around. You notice there's a loft access, but you also enter another smaller bedroom. This one has got 2 small beds in it, clearly children-sized. They again appear relatively neat and tidy, a little scruffier, as you might expect from a child's room. And as you look in the closets and so forth, again where people might be hiding, or under the bed, again another classic hiding place, you see a surprising absence of clothes, just like a little bit here or there, but lots of clothes clearly gone, empty hangers, and again drag marks in the carpet that suggest heavy containers were dragged around at some point, but are there no longer.
I'm going to turn around and whisper to Rostigam that it looks like the occupants of the house may have packed up their bags and left. And go back to searching whatever's left of the house, whether it's an attic or basement, anything like that.
There is no basement, but the attic is relatively easy to access. You sort of shift the panel, and it's got a ladder built into the door to the attic that slides down. If you poke your head up in there, it's dark, but because it's light outside, there's a bit of sort of like ambient light coming in through the bits around the edge of the loft where there's airspace. And there are some boxes in here, like generic storage boxes, the kind of thing that you'd expect to find in an attic. Other than that, it is completely unremarkable.
Odd.
Well, because this is Poland, and Poland has a history of having wars all the time. I'm going to search the boxes to see if there's any like military memorabilia, souvenirs, weapons, anything that might indicate who the house belongs to, that type of thing.
So you start searching through, and the first kind of things that you find are the items that you typically put up in an attic because you hardly ever need them. So you find a plastic Christmas tree. You find like a box full of decorations for that they clearly used to decorate the house with some time ago and stored up here, like candlesticks, that kind of a thing. You find a pair of ski boots. Well, no, you find 4 pairs of ski boots, 2 adult, 2 children, with skis and ski poles to match. You find, yeah, that's like you don't find anything obviously military, and you don't find anything that appears obviously sentimental, like a photo album or medals or anything like that.
Okay. Well, then I think we go back to the kitchen and search the refrigerator and the cabinets and see if there's any food or water we can take.
Yeah.
Well, I want to take that water barrel, actually.
Absolutely. So yeah, it'll be a 2-man job to move the water barrel, but you can do it fine. That's not difficult. The collector will just drip onto the tiles.
Can we angle the collector so that it drips into the sink so it doesn't ruin the tiles in case somebody comes back?
It's not enough pipe. It
Okay.
wouldn't reach. But yeah, you can take the water barrel. That won't be a problem. And that is a lot of water. I'll have to work out how much water that is, but it'll take up a fair amount of your cargo space. But in theory, you could get a lot of water in that.
Water a person can't live without for very long. Food we can get by with, but water we got to have. So
yeah, this is a wise move. So you do that. As far as food is concerned, there is an odd lack of food. The refrigerator has nothing in it, and you can clearly tell that it hasn't been running for a very long time. There's no ice in there or anything.
Sure.
So yeah, it's just a box. But you look through that and the various cabinets, and there is no food at all.
Okay. Is there a garage or anything attached to or beside this house?
Or a cellar.
Well, you already said there was no basement.
No basement. In terms of a garage, yeah, I'll say that there is. You'd have to go back outside. It doesn't have an internal entrance. But yeah,
Right.
you could do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I say we take the water barrel out front.
Mm-hmm.
How close are we to the BMP currently?
Oh, you're within line of sight when you open the door.
Okay. So I'm gonna drop the barrel, not drop the barrel, set the barrel down next to the front step, and then make my way around to the garage and see if there's anything in the garage that we can use to maintain the vehicle, maintain our weapons, anything like that.
I should point out that you have to leave by climbing through the window again, unless you want to break down the front door from the inside. It doesn't lock keys unlock automatically, but yeah.
It doesn't have a deadbolt?
No, it's key.
Oh, it's key only. Okay.
Well, I mean, there is a deadbolt. Pull that aside, it's still locked.
Okay.
And you have no clue. And when you go to the garage, it's the classic sort of rolling, folding door. You go to move it, it's locked.
Is there a side door or a window we can access the garage through? Or look through the window and see if there's anything in the garage worth breaking into it for?
Yeah, you can find a very small window. It would be a real squeeze to put a person through it. You look inside, and you see tool benches without any tools. You can see storage boxes. No immediate clue what's in the storage boxes, but nothing in there looks mechanical.
All right. Then I say we grab the water and head for the BMP.
Excellent. And yeah, just as a side note, if you peer through the windows of a couple of the other more up together houses, it's the same kind of story. Very well put together, no sign of human life.
Gotcha.
All right. So you all gather back at the BMP. Discuss what are you going to do anything further in this town? Are you going to move on? What's your plan?
Once we're back, we're planning to moving on.
Okay. Nick. All right. So yeah, everybody gets back without incident. Nobody's hurt. Nobody's harmed. And unless you take the time to spend whole shifts doing searches of the village, you can move on. If you want to spend a whole shift, you can make rolls to scavenge items, but it will be quite difficult due to how little is seemingly here.
It might be better to just get the route mapped out, Commodore.
That's why I said we are moving on. To the next city.
Fantastic. So yeah, give me a flat driving roll as you head towards Ljubljanek. Okay. So yeah, you drive to Ljubljanek without difficulty. As you start pulling in towards the town, you notice that your fuel gauge is now at 75%, roughly. As you head towards Ljubljanek, you know what you're looking for. You can see that this is very much the same story as Drovdizien. A few buildings very well maintained, most of them kind of rough and ramshackle. And also you see what are clearly worked farmers' fields around Ljubljanek. There are crops growing. You don't see anyone actually working them right now.
And what time of day is it?
It is now the afternoon.
Okay, we're gonna, he's gonna get out so he can stretch his legs. Because sitting down for too long is not good for somebody's well-being. And he's gonna say, "Don't scout it out. We're moving on."
Okay. Do you all go, or just one or two of you?
I'm sorry, what are we doing? I missed that.
Scouting Ljubljanek on foot.
Oh, okay. We're doing that again. I'll go, unless somebody needs... Well, what's the private doing? We probably ought to have him stay with the vehicle.
I was going to say, if the PCs go off, he'll at least stay with the vehicle.
Yeah, okay. Let's leave him to guard the vehicle, and then if that's okay, then I'll go as part of the scouting party as well.
Excellent. Everyone who's part of the scouting party can give me a recon roll. I see Wolf has.
Did that?
Okay. Alright. So, enter the town of Ljubljanek, and this is a case of deja vu. Start moving through the area. Some buildings are very well maintained, most aren't. There's no sign of anyone here at all. And again, thinking much like you did with the last time, you peer through one or two windows and it's a similar story. It's houses that appear lived in with no sign of human life in at this moment. Oh, Soboslaw, with your double recon, you notice all of that, but you also, as you're looking around, you actually look past out over the roof line into the trees, and see distinct shape of a human move quickly and away. He's not in the town; he's in the woods, and whoever or whatever he is, he's booking it.
Which direction would he be going?
He would be heading south.
Okay.
He goes, "That's Commodore goes. It's the same as same. Might as well keep moving."
Aside from that one booking it,
What one?
Hmm?
Sorry, Rustigam didn't
What
see it, so
one?
she's like, "What are you talking about?"
there was a human visage that ran southwards.
Uh,
Did it look like a civilian or military?
Soboslav, from this distance, it was a silhouette.
It was just a silhouette. I couldn't recognize whether or not it was a civ or a military.
You said it was outside the city.
But it definitely looked humanoid.
let's go over to. He goes to the radio and radios through that two of the cities look eerily familiar with no civilians in it.
Okay.
Keep a watchful eye when you go. Watchful eye when you go through them, because we spotted somebody on the tree line, so they can have a mental note that there might be somebody out there.
Understood. And this is only from the recon team that's a little bit behind you. You're well out of radio range with normal Praska. I say, understood. Message received. We will pass that on. Thank you for the update. What conclusions have you reached, if any, about what has caused this?
We don't know. Really don't know. We'll scout out the rest of the road up to Chester.
Over, yeah.
But yeah, we don't know. Apparently they just left, with all their clothes and everything, and yeah, left literally nothing behind.
That is curious. We will report this to the Major and see how that affects her plans.
Yep.
Now, please continue with your mission. And unless you want to go searching in detail through the buildings, which will take a shift of time, or go hunting for... Well, what do you want to do? You want to search the buildings in detail? Do you want to go hunting after this person that ran off to the south? Do you want to carry on your way? What's your plan?
Carry on our way till we get to
Yeah, that's fine. That assuming nothing goes wrong, you can get to Sestakova before nightfall.
Yeah. He wants to make sure to get there before nightfall, because if things are looking sus at these two villages, he doesn't want to be at these two villages with his team,
But is it...
just in case.
Rustigam would ask, like, is it possible that this person may know what happened and why there's nobody here? She kind of glances down, assuming that he exists.
Would be implausible to rule out, but still, we do have some.
We still
do
have
a mission to carry out. That's the problem.
Yeah. We got a mission to carry out. Once we finish it, we can easily come back and look into it, this more in depth. But this present time, we have to finish the mission first. Because there's
Very well.
one stretch of road that needs to be scouted out.
Understood, Commodore.
But we
Okay. All right. Well, if you all pile back
once
into
we
the
scout out
BMP,
that road, we can easily make our way back.
pile back into the BMP, and you leave the oddly quiet town with maybe one person in the woods, perhaps, maybe? Was it a figment of your imagination? As you drive on, heading towards Sestakova, make me a flat driving roll. Excellent. So as you're driving along, you get to the city of Sestakova without any incident. The journey is smooth. It's quiet. Nothing goes wrong at all. So I'm just changing your fuel. There you go. Nothing goes wrong at all. And come back into the city. You rejoin a road that you're familiar with at the last moment, and you head back to the depot via the known route. Everything is calm. Everything is quiet. Every now and again, you might see a dog moving somewhere in the background, but they're not a problem. And are welcomed back at your depot as the sun starts dipping below the horizon. And as you come in, the guards will say, "It's good to see you all again. It's been a quiet few days out here. Every now and again we think we see something sniffing around the outside, but, well, I think usually it actually is sniffing," he says as he chuckles. There ain't been no problems here, sir."
Yeah, everything's been weird lately.
Weird? How so, sir?
I don't know, the last two cities we went through looked like the civilians just took everything and left.
Is curious, but I can't comment on that at all, sir. We don't know what's going on out there. All we know is that it's been right quiet here. Ain't been any issues.
Might as well radio to the team behind us that we got here. Everything's clear.
Excellent.
He does
Now
that.
I'm going to put this to the team, because how to deal with it? Yeah, because they can take the message back. So you've effectively got a choice now about what you want to do. There are two immediate ones that leap to my mind, but if you think of any other choice or route or way, let me know. Happy to go with it. But do you want to rely on the message getting passed back to the major, and then the major organizing everything and taking the southern route now that you scouted it out, and you just stay in Sestakova and wait? Or do you want to go back and join the major and maybe be with the big convoy when it moves?
He
I think it'd be
goes,
safer if we stayed put.
hmm.
That's my opinion. That's certainly a group decision.
He goes, we join the group and go back through. We can easily go and scatter, break away at Luxembourg to go and see if we can find the man again. If you want to do that.
What are the opinions of the rest of the party?
Is there fuel in this depot?
Yes, there is. You can refill. There's plenty of fuel here.
Then we should top off the BMP first.
Yeah.
And is
I'll
it
do that.
fully
That's not a
repaired?
problem. So mechanics are all repaired. You do, however, in the hole in your armor, just have like normal civilian like construction metal on the side, not proper armor. If you want to get proper armor, you're going to need to spend a lot of time with proper equipment, proper materials.
Is there other equipment here?
Yes, you know from your view of the garage that here you have everything that you need to make those repairs, but it will not be quick.
No, what I mean is there other vehicles here?
There are, but none of them are as armed or armored as the EMP. This is the most combat-orientated vehicle. The rest are all trucks, jeeps, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Lieutenant,
Yes.
Private, do you think you wanna make it back to go through Crestapes to go back to Rusk?
I'm not frankly sure if we should do that. Frankly, if we could, maybe perhaps we could instead go from here, around here, here, then Nebraska.
No.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
we can. We can.
Yeah, that will be,
Stop.
you know,
Would that be an acceptable idea instead?
Yeah.
That'll take more fuel, I think.
it'll take more fuel and more time, but
Yeah.
you know, you could do it.
Yeah.
Why are we avoiding Crespus again? Is that where the
It's the small town.
priest and all of that?
Yeah. The Polish, so I think it's really the Polish army that's there. That's where there's a. We would prefer to not have to deal with them again, I think, is the consensus of the. I think that's the consensus of the team. Also, I don't know if they
Yeah.
really want to see us again. So.
I don't think they do.
Yeah.
Oh. Interesting.
Well, I'm concerned if we drive our BMP through there and they don't see our little paint job, they may decide we're Soviet.
Oh, they've already seen our vehicle and its paint job.
I don't know. That's
Yeah,
right.
they know
Crespus
you.
has?
They saw
Oh,
it
do
on
they?
because we picked it up here in Shestakova and drove it back.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
been a while.
Just
Yeah.
a couple weeks.
So no, they know that this weirdly painted BMP is your BMP.
Yeah.
The Polish army that are based in Crespis that moved in not all that long ago, they don't exactly like you, but they're not murderous. So you think.
Basically, they know we aren't gonna just go out and shoot them.
Yeah.
Like we're on neutral ground. That's pretty much what it is.
So, again, what's the team general consensus? Stay here or go back to Praska? We've got, I think, one person saying stay here. Got, I think, two people saying head back to Praska. What's? I don't think I've heard from Rostogram. What are Rostogram's thoughts?
Rostogam is still a little bit curious about the two cities that we've already passed through, but she already knows it. She knows that it's not worth bringing up because a lot of that's just personal curiosity more so than anything from a tactical advantage. And
Basically,
cat, go away.
Basically,
Oh, no.
that's what the Commodore's actually curious about the two cities, but he's actually wanting to make sure they got the information back to the base so they can go with the major convoy to around and then be able to investigate.
I'll give you this. You can be confident that the major is aware of the issue, but you know you don't know what the major's plan is.
I mean, she may not
without
even
getting
care that much that we think that we saw somebody. So,
How many guards are here at the depot?
So currently here in the depot, you've got an M60 tank, an M113 because you left your M113 here, Bradley, and about a dozen or so US infantrymen guarding the compound.
Not a substantial force, but better than 4.
Yeah, that's why I want to try and figure out what the major is planning, and before we actually go considering going down to the 2Cs to investigate.
So it sounds like you're heading back to Praska next morning.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Okay, all right. And I'm aware of the time, so I'm just going to move it forward a little bit. But okay, so you spend a quiet, uneventful night. You all get rest. You're able to leave yourselves in the calming, in the under the watchful eye of the guards who are already here. You are alerted to no trouble. Nothing goes awry. And the people here have set up some water collectors and so forth. It's not much. It won't be able to sustain a large number of people, but you top off all of your water containers other than the giant barrel. There's not enough water for that. And in terms of food, they have been able to scavenge various pieces of supplies from around the area. They're not entirely confident about going to the big food supplies inside the depot yet. So you can all eat for free, as it were, tonight without or consuming a day's worth of rations, and you all get given an extra day's worth of food. And then the next morning, you set off to Praska via the circuitous route through farm fields and heavy woodland. The driver can give me 2 driving rolls at -2, because driving through those trees in the woodland is tricky.
Hey.
Okay, so that's 1. That's good.
-2. Okay, cool.
Yeah, -2.
Yeah.
Okay, well. Excellent. You managed to do it without, any crashes or anything like that. I'm just marking off assumption. There you go. And it definitely takes longer. So had you gone on the roads, you would be in Praska in like a shift, a little bit more. It takes almost the whole day over the rougher terrain, but you are able to get to Praska without any issue. You don't run into the Polish army. You don't run into anything else strange. Nothing accosts you. And so long as you don't stop to go searching, you stay in the vehicle moving the whole time, you will reach Praska in the evening.
Yeah, we do that. We continue to Praska. Figure out what's going on there.
When you arrive, you're welcomed in. They recognize your very strange BMP, so you're welcomed back in. And you are the vehicles, because when you last left here, they were getting ready to move. Everything now seems almost entirely packed. Even the tent city is partly taken down, and you can tell that it would be very easy to just pack up the remaining tents the next morning and move in minutes. There are crates stacked in places. Most of the crates are on vehicles. The vehicles are largely parked up as though they're ready to move. They are on the precipice of going. And the Major will invite you in into her usual sort of command post, but you can see, obviously, that the vast majority of equipment in the command post has been packed up. It's just the last little bits that are left. And as I say, well, thank you for your scouting of the area. I understand that you came across 2 ghost towns in your trip.
Yeah, it's weird. We noticed that there was one of the ghost towns. The second one looked like someone was in the woodlands. We're gonna have to. We're gonna scout it out. When we go back through, see what's going on.
That is very concerning. I have noted your reports, and I have sent ahead of the main patrol, or the main convoy, which will leave tomorrow, small forces to garrison both of those towns, just in case there is anything awry.
Yeah, it's concerning.
Is there anything else that you feel that I should be aware of, or any alterations to the plan? I should explain to you that I intend to, as I say, set off tomorrow morning. I will leave a small force here to maintain our control over the region and ensure that the farms continue to produce, but that the vast majority of our forces will move Doxborg, Opol, Doptizien, and Lubyanek should, if there are no interruptions, be able to make it in one day, albeit it will be constant hard traveling. We may be pushing. If necessary, we can take breaks at certain predetermined locations. I intend, however, in order to move that fast, that everyone and everything be in vehicles. This does mean that we will, aside from the period of Kluxborg to Opol, where I will force our people to dismount, and I will have infantry in the trees walking parallel to the convoy. It will slow us down, but in that particular area, I think that is necessary to guard against an ambush. Other than that, people will be in vehicles moving high speed at all times. Do any of you have any comments or recommendations about this plan?
No?
I assume we updated the major on the ambush that we ran into just outside of Pole.
Yes.
Yes,
So
that's why we're getting foot. That's why she's actually making sure she has foot soldiers between Brook and Apol. So there's no, yeah.
Very well. Very well. Excellent. Well, thank you. One and all, I would offer you a glass of wine, but we all need to be fresh for the morning, and the bottles are already packed, she says with a smile. We will leave for Festakova first thing in the morning, after everybody has had breakfast, of course. Where in the convoy? I give you the honor. Where in the convoy do you wish your vehicle to be?
He looks at the team, waiting an answer because he knows that.
Rostergam doesn't have any opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, out of character,
we're going to
it broadly
stick out no
boils
matter
down.
where we are.
Yeah, it broadly boils down to like three important places: front, rear, or somewhere in the middle.
I reckon somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. Fun fact.
Yes.
That is those are the vehicles that get shot last in an ambush.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
Exactly.
You shoot the first vehicle, you shoot the last vehicle, and everything else in the middle is just a target practice.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So yeah, somewhere in the middle. Because of your great success in the scouting mission, she's basically giving you free choice of where to be. Pick somewhere in the middle. So she nods, notes that down, and she hands out to you, Commodore, as the driver, a very sort of well planned out route card, packet number, where you are in the convoy, etc. Lead vehicle, puts a little flag on the vehicle identifying your packet, and will then wish you all a good night. She's gonna tuck in early in preparation to go in the morning, but she's got nothing more to do or say other than to get going. This is your last chance to do anything in Praska before NATO forces move out.
Rostergam will say goodbye to Eugenia.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna.
Alright. Rostergam finds Eugenia, and she's there with a small child, and she looks somewhat pleased when you come in, and says, "Oh, hello, hello, Doctor. There's been a lot of activity. I hear a rumor that the troops are leaving. Is that true?"
That's true. I'm leaving with them tomorrow morning, actually.
I'm happy to see soldiers leave, but not so happy to see leave. Think you'll ever come back?
Well, I guess I try not to plan too far ahead in the future. God has a funny way of changing everything, I've realized. But my hope is my hope is not to be far from Poland. It seems, for now anyway, it seems like where I could. Well, there I go, getting ahead of myself again.
What is your hope, Doctor?
Well, as I told you last time, it's to be a healer. Whenever the wars, when the fighting is, well, I guess it will never be completely over, but maybe when it's back to where it used to be. Well, I always wanted to be a doctor. I always wanted to work in a hospital, and I was doing that before I came here, actually. But I don't know. I'm not ready to let that dream die.
Should you be? And as I've said, and as I'm sure other people have told you, your skills will be needed. I don't think this world is going to be returning to the way it was in our lifetimes. I imagine it will be a bit more like those stories from medieval times. Not about the technology, but about though the kingdoms may have been at peace with one another technically, border skirmishes and fights between local lords were pretty much constant. I imagine we will have something like that for our lifetimes at least.
I suppose so. Well, at least I've learned a couple defense things, both growing up and out here on the... I was going to say out here on the field. That's not really the right word. Anyway.
But where will you be going? Are you leaving Poland? Are you going to another town? The soldiers won't tell us where they're headed.
They won't tell you where they're headed? That's odd.
She shakes her head.
I didn't realize it was a big secret. Well, I mean, because... She's debating.
You can tell
now.
her.
She's like, do I tell her or not tell her? Anyway. Then
you can tell her.
Yeah, I'm sure I should.
I
probably should, Mac. I know, it's probably fine. I know that. She doesn't quite know that as much.
Yeah. Yeah, the Commodore won't lecture you on it, and basically the Major didn't tell the Commodore to keep it quiet, so it's like,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, no, Eugenia is just a mother is just a mother at this point, as far as that goes. So,
maybe we ought to ask her about those two villages we went through where there was neatly tidied up houses but nothing in them.
Yeah, Shostakova.
Oh yeah,
Shostakova. That's where we found fuel there, and among other things, it's not quite safe to live there. I don't think anyway. But I guess the Major has decided it's time to move on.
Oh, then I'm sure we'll be seeing one another again. That's just a town or two away. A day, a little more than a day, perhaps, on foot. We won't be far away at all.
You've done that route before? You've traveled that route, I mean?
Oh, yes. Not recently, but years ago.
What do you know about, I guess, for the route that you took, what do you know about the towns about the towns in the area? Like Opul or Lubniak?
And I know a pool got very, very badly damaged. It was a vital crossroad with bridges over the river. It was a natural draw for battlefields and armies. And army after army, battle after battle get fought there. It was devastated. As for Kluxburg, it's just a little town, sleepy little railway junction. Nothing important there. And Drobdizien and Lubljanek were just two quiet, rural towns, not on the main path. Sleepy little places where people go to retire and teenagers leave as fast as they can. During the war, I think they got off lighter than most places because, they're out the way.
How would you compare those smaller towns to... Well, but Crespis is also not a very big town either. And yet...
Crest Peace got organized. Crest Peace had the father. He still has the father, and he had the help of Sanctuary. Crest Peace was better organized than most places, and able to bring people in.
We didn't find many signs of, I was going to say civilization. We found buildings in the smaller towns as we went along. Not really, I don't know, I didn't see anybody. The lieutenant thinks he saw somebody, but we didn't investigate it, so... And I just have to take his word for it. I'm not sure if it matters.
You didn't see anybody. That's just not right. I haven't gone. Out of character coughs.
Kim's like, do I need to give you something?
I mean, I haven't gone to Drobdizien or Luniek for a very, very long time, but I do know that people lived there. Occasionally traders would come through. People sell. There's good hunting. There's really good hunting in those areas. People would come through selling meat and furs. There weren't a lot of people living there, but there were people. Someone should be there.
How recently were you there?
Oh, it would have been many months ago.
Okay.
Is there anybody in the camp from there? From either of those towns? Is there anybody in the camp right now from either one of those towns?
Not that I know. Of course, because, they didn't live here, and we didn't have any traders in when the Major's people came in and took control, and, well, ever since then, people have been staying away.
Because it looked like... I went into a house, and it looked like whoever had been there, it was the strangest thing. The doors were locked, the windows were locked, but no sign of anyone living there at the moment. And if anything, it looked like someone had just packed up and left. I don't know if it was left in a hurry because it was pretty much cleared of anything. There wasn't much left in the building.
She looks really curiously at that and says, I don't know what could cause that. I mean, I've seen towns and villages heard of towns and villages being abandoned before, but it's usually because they're told something horrible is coming and they clear out in a panic. Leave loads of stuff behind. It's a mess, but if what you're telling me sounds like it was calm and planned.
Almost as if they had somewhere to go.
She looks confused.
I had a thought that maybe we had tipped somebody off, but you're right. If they had left in a hurry, they would have left things behind. But maybe there's somewhere else, a better place to live than here.
Well, people do keep talking about Krakow. Place is like a lighthouse. But whilst most lighthouses ward people away, that one just sucks people in. And then there's I hear rumours from before the Major's troops moved in about the territory south of Lubliniec.
Territory south?
They say that it's necessary for Krakow. Krakow is I'm told that it's an independent state, on its own, but of Poland, and filled largely with Polish people, but I hear everybody is welcome of any nation or uniform as long as you behave. But a target like that needs protection, and a city like that needs food. That's where the territory south of Lubliniec comes in. It's famous. That's the beginning of Silesia. That's famously some of the most abundant farmland in all of Europe. And admittedly, the war will have changed that, but I reckon it's still probably good farmland.
It
And
looked like they were still
apparently, and I don't know the
contemplating.
details, again, this is just a trader talking to a trader talking to me from months ago, but most intact force of the Polish army is in that territory somewhere. Apparently, they've got a deal with Krakow.
Interesting. We certainly didn't run into any Polish forces that way. Not yet,
Well,
at
you know,
least.
they don't tend to go that far north, I hear. Next, out of their territory. Have to be on the far side of the woods.
Some of that sounds like what the lieutenant had said he saw. Well, I don't know. I guess if I need to know, I'm going to find out one way or another. But anyway, I mostly just came to say goodbye. Hopefully just goodbye for now. But I probably need to get some rest. It'll be a big day. Big couple of days, maybe.
I'm sure it will only be goodbye for now. I'll see you again soon, Doctor. Don't worry.
Thanks. I'll need someone to teach me some Polish at some point.
You're a smart woman, Doctor.
Yeah, sorry, out of character, Lieutenant, I know. She's gonna come to you right next, but in character.
You're a smart woman, Doctor. You'll learn fast.
Okay. So, if anyone else on the team would still be awake, Rostrigan would probably go and say, hey, here's what I just had this interesting conversation about about some territory south of our cities that we were running through. But if everyone else is asleep, then it'll just have to wait till tomorrow morning.
I'll leave that entirely to the party. A conversation, I'm not going to say interrupts your sleep or gives you bad sleep, so you can have a conversation free of any sleep penalties.
Yeah. Well, anyway, out of character, y'all heard it anyway, but in character, that's just, she'll relay that to you guys.
All right. Well then, unless there's anything further, the morning will come.
Okay.
So, the sun rises, the convoy assembles, the last of the equipment is packed up, a small force is left here, a couple dozen men. The vast majority, the Major's forces, all pack up into the convoy. You take your position in your packet in the middle, and you drive off towards Kluxburg in the morning sun. Finally, a moment of triumph. The Major's plans to relocate to Sestakova and have a truly sustainable base of power are now coming to fruition. Drive along the road, reach Kluxburg. There are no issues. Drive through the town, absolutely fine. You enter the woodland. The convoy slows down. Some crew dismount, and they are fanning through the woodland on either side of the convoy and a little ahead, cautious of any future or further ambushes. It takes a good chunk of the day to do that, but nonetheless, it is done without incident. There are no fights. There are no issues. As you approach a pole and leave the trees, they jump back on the vehicles. The convoy speeds up. You go through a pole, staying largely on a ring road to avoid the inner city. There are no problems. Keep going on the road. Everything is proceeding smoothly. You reach Drobdizien. You get signals, flag signals and radio signals coming from the troops that the Major sent ahead, saying that all is clear. They remain in the town as the convoy passes through, seemingly garrison it for a little while longer, and absolutely everything continues to be fine. At this point, the entire party can make me recon rolls at -2. Okay.
-2.
All right. You're rumbling along. You are in the open territory between Drobdizien and Lubinek. There is woodland in the area, a little off to either side. It's quite a bit of open ground between the woods. Driving along, everything seems absolutely fine. Ostogram, is that a tank? Bang! Lead vehicle explodes as a shell wishes out of the woodland. A Bradley goes up in flames in a single hit. Towards the rear of the convoy, you hear another doof as an explosion goes off somewhere to the rear. You can't see if a vehicle was hit. You can't see quite what's happening. Boom! There are a series of explosions by the sides of the road as pre-prepared explosive devices go off. You can hear automatic weapon fire. You're starting getting very pressured and frantic messages down the radio telling people to break off from the road, bail out of vehicles. People are jumping out, starting to return fire at targets that they cannot see in the woodland. What is your immediate reaction?
I told you we should have stayed at the depot. I think we need to get off of the road and into the trees.
He breaks
All right.
off.
Give me
He
a
takes the
driving roll.
vehicle off road.
Give me a
into the
driving roll
trees.
flat. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so brum, you pull off into the side. You sort of like go hull down in a little bit of a divot. But if you know that if you keep driving towards the trees in front of you, you're going to hit the enemy because you can see a hostile BMP somewhere in those trees. You can see infantry starting to shift about a little bit with the sort of vapor trails almost, although I know it's not vapor, of RPG shots striking back to the trees as shots are coming out of the woodland towards the convoy. A little ahead of you, one of the M60 tanks returns fire as HE explodes in the trees. Some of your own crewmen from another vehicle are sort of jumping up and setting up a mortar in a ditch. An Abrams, bang, fires off its main cannon in the other direction. Got a hostile vehicle in front of you. What do you do?
We're gonna shoot that hostile. Used to. Get on the gun.
All right, lead gunner can give me a roll at -1. No, -2 from this range.
Out of character, I might have missed this. Whatever happened to the RPG and the rocket that presumably Roster
They're in the vehicle.
recovered?
Yeah, it's in your vehicle. It's sitting in the
Okay.
back.
Just kind of eyeing it, like, man, I don't know how to use that though.
Okay.
So we're doing a ranged combat rolls? Is that what you said?
Either a ranged combat roll. Technically, it should be a heavy weapon roll, but with vehicle weapons, I'm going to be a bit relaxed. So you can give me a heavy weapon or a ranged combat roll, your choice. All right. So, boom! You fire the main cannon. It fires an AP round, I'm going to say, because you're firing at a hostile vehicle. You are aware that you definitely connect with your target. You're not quite sure of the effect. It doesn't appear to explode or start belching smoke. You've hit. You don't quite know what's going on. Then there's a flurry of explosions down the length of the convoy. It doesn't seem to be AP. It's largely HE. There is screaming everywhere. You see soldiers dying in front of you. And then through one of the rear, I'm going to say Dr. Rostergram in her compartment near the back is looking out through one of the little side views. Really crank your neck up and you sort of look to the side and to the rear. What is that? Oh my god, what is that? Give me a recon roll. Oh no, they shouldn't exist. They don't exist anymore. How can that be? That's a hind! You are under attack from a helicopter.
There will probably be a choice word or two coming out of Roshingam's mouth with that. She's just like, what the heck? What is this?
What?
You
A
mentioned
hind
that?
helicopter is attacking you. I will link the picture. Those of you who don't know it by name will know it by sight because it is one of the most
I know
famous
exactly
helicopters
what
ever
it
to
is.
exist.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's that kind of helicopter. Oh god.
I guess it would be a good time to use
And
that.
that-
You mention it.
Unless you want to continue, that is where I was planning on ending session because it's 11:30. But if you want to keep going, I'm happy to.
I'm gonna need to hop off if
Fair enough.
it is
Okay.
a stop.
So yes,
Yeah, we're gonna hop off.
The convoy has been attacked. The Hind has appeared. There are tanks and BMPs to the left and right. Infantry with machine guns and RPGs. How are you gonna get out of this? You'll find out in 2 weeks.